This year, football was forced to navigate through a pandemic, and still, close to 100 college standouts now descend upon Honolulu, Hawaii as they look to navigate their way into the professional ranks. Aloha Stadium serves as another proving ground. In a tradition that began 75 years ago, and with greats of the game manning the sideline, Team Aina will face off with Team Kai in the Hula Bowl. Well, with apologies to some of our friends dealing with rougher weather elsewhere in the country, an absolutely gorgeous day here in the islands, perfect for the playing of this long-time all-star game. With a moratorium placed on future events, this might also very well be the final football game played at Aloha Stadium. Well, David Moore among the players who will be trying to strut their stuff on the field here this evening. He will be suiting up as quarterback for Team Aina. CJ Marable from that epic Coastal Carolina season, he will be on Team Kai. Team Aina also featuring on the D-line Phil Hoskins, 6'5", 315-pound tackle from Kentucky. And on the Kai side, linebacker who has definitely stood out this week from Boston College, Max Roberts. And we bid you aloha, everybody, from Honolulu, Hawaii. Alongside Brian Baldinger, I'm Kanoa Leahy. And Brian, those were just some of the guys who were out to impress this week. How impressed were you with what you saw?
I was so impressed this week by the character of the players, the work ethic, that I shot some texts to general managers in the league. And I said, listen, I know your scouts are here. I'm just telling you right now, there's an extra set of eyeballs on these guys that I think can play at the next level. And today, and this game is important to all these guys. And I think they've acted like it's important to them.
Yeah, I mean, you went through this coming out of Duke. You were an undrafted free agent signing, went on to play 12 years in the NFL. That's, for many of these guys, what they're going to aim to do.
Yeah, and you know, every single career has a beginning. And for a lot of these guys, I think today can be a beginning because it's the next step towards getting to that roster and getting signed and possibly drafted. And some of these guys may very well get drafted. So it's the next step before that whole process begins.
Well, the Hula Bowl tradition started all the way back in 1946. So 75 years ago, there was a little bit of a hiatus in there. And so this is officially the 64th time that this Hula Bowl game will be held. But you see 100 players from 77 colleges and universities representing the United States, Canada. You have players from Japan and Australia. I mean, this has definitely become and turned into a global affair.
Well, it has, but I think the sport has become a global sport. I mean, we're finding players in other areas. I mean, the punters in America are basically coming out of Australia. We have one here today. And so, you know, as a scout, you never stop looking under the rocks and trying to find players because that's the lifeblood of the NFL is finding new players with new opportunities. All
right, well, we're going to hear from a couple of the players here as we await kickoff. Let's send it down to Kainoa Carlson.
Mahalo, guys. I'm joined here now by CJ Marable. This guy had 19 touchdowns last year. Talk about all Sun Belt Conference first team at running back and specialist. So I got to ask, what do you like more?
I'm versatile, so it don't matter. I just like the ball in my hand.
Absolutely. Looking forward to getting the ball in your hands today. What's this week in Hawaii been like for you?
It been great. It been great, actually. Been out here in Hawaii, man. Been great. They pass me the ball a lot. They give me the ball. They run me the ball outside zone and stuff like that, so it's been great.
Awesome. Hey, and a historic year for Coastal Carolina.
Yep.
You finished the season ranked 14th nationally, undefeated in the conference,
yep.
The first conference title in program history.
Yep.
What went right for you guys?
Man, that's a blessing, man. All the seniors, man, we just hold everybody accountable, to be honest, and we just work.
In several of those games as well, you went up against top 25 opponents, and you're able to beat them both. Do you feel like some of the chip is off of the shoulder of some of the players and the staff there?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I feel like they know now, like they the best. Like they really legit.
Absolutely. You're legit, man.
Yeah, thank you.
We can't wait to see you guys. We'll send it back up to the booth.
All right, thanks a lot, Kainoa. You take a look at the Team Aina head coach. It is the legendary Mike Singletary, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1998. Of course, the leader of the Chicago Bears 46 defense, which was constructed by Buddy Ryan, the father of the guy he's coaching against on the other sideline. Rex Ryan, former NFL head coach of the Jets and the Bills. He will be leading Team Kai for the second straight year. In fact, Rex Ryan defending his Hula Bowl win from a year ago when he defeated an Aina team coached by Mike Smith. So maybe this can turn into an annual, dare I say, even full-time gig here for Rex Ryan as he transitions.
I think he likes Hawaii. I've been entertained by Rex all week. Anybody that's been around Rex Ryan knows that the stories are going to follow. and I think he's been entertaining. But at the same time, I think he's got a very sound scheme, and he wants to win this game.
So we are gearing up here for kickoff. Team Aina won the toss, elected to defer, so Team Kai will receive. If you are curious about the names, Aina is Hawaiian representing land, Kai, Hawaiian for the ocean. And so that kickoff by Chris Nagar out of SMU goes through the end zone. It will be a touchback. We are playing by de facto NFL rules here as we meet the starting quarterback for Team Kai. It is Brady White out of Memphis, 6'3", 215-pounder. Tigers went 8-3 in 2020. He threw for almost 3,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions in 11 games.
And somehow through all of that, he also has acquired 2 graduate degrees. So he has budgeted his time in addition to playing quarterback and winning a lot of football games.
Yeah, there are quite a few of those kinds of stories in the bunch here this week as well. So starting from the 25-yard line, it is a give to the running back. That is Israel Tucker, 5'8", 205-pounder from Louisiana Tech, is brought down after a game of 4. Taking a look at the Team Aina defense and a couple of the standouts, we saw Max Richardson this week really turning some heads at that linebacker position.
Yeah, he sure did. And, just following up for what he did at Boston College this past season, second team All-ACC, he was all over the field.
So again, out of the shotgun here, 2nd and 6 for Team Kai. Brady White fakes the handoff this time and then throws a little behind the intended receiver, which was Rico Bussey. He's used to this environment, Rico Bussey out of the University of Hawaii, but good defense by another guy who has stood out on that side of the ball for Team Aina, Isaiah Dunn. As for the Kai offense, we just saw the intended pass to Bussey. Ta'anga Tu'ulima, another University of Hawaii alum. He is the team captain starting at center.
Yeah, 3-year starter for Hawaii right here. And Mark Sanchez, former Jets quarterback, is the offense coordinator calling the plays for Team Kai.
So 3rd down. White throws it deep down the hash and a little bit long for his intended target, Donnie Corley out of Texas Southern. So that'll bring up 4th down, and obviously the wind's a little bit high here at kickoff, but otherwise a beautiful day. 14-mile-an-hour winds from the east, 79 degrees.
I think most people just call it paradise. It really feels like that. And look, the players have enjoyed their week, but you can tell right now that this is an important game, and maybe a few butterflies right now from Brady White on a couple of those throws to start this game.
Zach Von Rosenberg out of LSU with the punt. It is also an all-star game, so the rule will be on all punts and kickoffs that you have to fair catch the kick, and so we will not see too many of the dynamic returners in action here throughout.
I mean, look, player safety is important. We've had some injuries this week, but by and large, most of the players that have come over here are suited up and ready to play here today, starting with David Moore, the quarterback from Central Michigan, a Chippewa who's had a good week. Can't really get the smile off his face. He's looking forward to today.
That punt went 40 yards, was received by Myron Mitchell. But as you mentioned, David Moore out of Central Michigan did not play in 2020. Was actually serving a suspension, and there was some speculation as to whether or not he would return next season. But here he is, exploring his professional football options and running away from some pressure on that first snap. That was Ziande Johnson of Cal applying that pressure.
Well, just a bootleg, and here's the Team Aina offense here. Couple players to really look for. I think Artavius Lynn from TCU, a Horned Frog. Big guy that didn't catch a lot of balls at TCU, but he was a good inline blocker. And, of course, on the offensive line, I think my favorite player on this line right now, Braylon Jones out of Houston. Certainly looks like he's got a lot of ability.
So 2nd and 10 here for Team Aina. Moore is going to fire it to the near side, and it is a completion that will get out for a gain of about 8 yards. Khalil McClain on the reception out of Troy.
Yeah, you're going to see 2 backs in the backfield right here, but the offensive line held up pretty good. Left tackle beat a little bit early on that play, Keon Smith. But the good thing is David Moore got the ball out of his hands on time and didn't feel the pressure.
Max Roberts on the tackle there out of Boston College. So you got 2 linebackers out of BC, both named Max. In fact, both named Maximilian.
That's right.
And we'll be hearing their names a lot, I think, today.
Yeah, Max Roberts, good off the edge. He's rushing the quarterback on this play.
3rd and short, and that one deflected away. Nice defensive come-up by Zach McPherson. He is a Texas Tech Red Raider. Red Raiders went 4-6 in 2020, but McPherson read that all the way.
He did, and he had a great week. In fact, the play of the week was an interception against Team Ina. And Zach McPherson was a first-team All-Big 12 corner this year. His father played in the league. All of his brothers played college football. One played professional baseball. A family of athletes, and he certainly stood out.
So New Mexico's Tyson Dyer is on for the punt. So a couple of 3-and-outs here to start. And this is a pretty decent punt. He is an Aussie. They seem to produce punters at an extraordinary frequency.
I took a taxi ride over to the stadium with him this week. He was learned from Darren Bennett, the first Australian punter.
Who paid for the taxi?
I came out of my pocket.
We'll be back. Just some of the gorgeous scenery that is available here in the brilliant Hawaiian Islands as we bring you the 2021 Hula Bowl just underway. A couple of 3-and-outs for both Team Kai and Team Ina. That last Ina punt went 48 yards. So Team Kai on its second possession will get started at the 15-yard line. Brady White out of Memphis remains the quarterback here on this second possession. Trey Harbison out of Charlotte in the backfield, and another pass attempt, and this one is complete. It gets to Rico Bussey. Sean Crawford, safety out of Notre Dame, on the coverage.
Yeah, and Rico Bussey was in the slot, and that's where he's going to play a lot today. And you know, you're going to see a lot of man-to-man coverage here because really that's what the scouts want to see. You're going to see a good throw right here by Brady White over the middle. Just put it right out in front of Rico Bussey. Good coverage on it, but the throw beat the coverage that time by Sean Crawford.
Bussey, a guy who lined up at wideout for the most part for Todd Graham's Warriors, and so a lot of these guys trying different things, and it actually might work to their benefit as we see another completion out to the near side.
I asked Rico Bussey down the sideline before the game, how fast are you? He said, you'll find out. I mean, are you a 4.4 or you're 4.3? He said, no, I got speed. You'll see it today.
7-yard gain there as this one is complete to Harbison.
Yeah, well, I mean, just getting the ball out of his hands on a little flat route to the back, coming right out of the backfield there, just a good gain on first down.
Now we got split backs on either side of Brady White, C.J. Marable, and Israel Tucker. White again to throw, and that one in and out of the hands of Donnie Corley.
The left guard for Team Kai right here is massive in Michael Brown. I mean, 345 pounds. He might be a little bit more after some of the poke that he ate this week, and some of the lasagna that we went through last night. But he's stout in the middle.
Yeah, the poke is readily available throughout this week, and these guys were limited as far as some of the activity that they could endeavor because obviously the COVID restrictions and protocols, as the give is to Marable on third down and going to be stopped short.
Yeah, and then they ran for it right there on that play, thinking they could pick up about 2.5 yards. They lost a yard there. And as much as I think Rex Ryan would love to go for it, even right here, he's going to put the punter out there right now.
Yeah, credit Noah Curtis out of FIU for stepping up into that gap. So 4th and 3, and Von Rosenberg again out there to punt it away.
And we were down the field before the game. That wind is swirling down there on the field. It's open in the corners here at Aloha Stadium, and so the wind has been a little bit of a factor so far.
So Myron Mitchell and Kyle Hemby are the two guys back to receive this punt. Again, no returns allowed, all fair catches, but they have to complete the play as well. Pretty good one here off of the foot of Von Rosenberg, and it will be received all the way inside the 10-yard line. He averaged almost 44 yards per punt in 2020. 54-yarder there. Well, Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, we are back on the hardwood with some Big East action. The number 3 ranked Villanova Wildcats head to the Big Apple to battle St. John's. Catch it all on CBS Sports Network. And we are happy that all of you who are able to join us here from beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, can take in what might be the final football game held at Aloha Stadium.
I would be sad because there's a lot of NFL players that played their Pro Bowls. Mike Singletary played 10 straight Pro Bowls here in Hawaii. He's got an affinity for this place.
Makai Sargent off the give out of Iowa. A Key West, Florida native. He is chased down by Tavante Beckett. So a couple of good ones there. You have Sargent, who was a touchdown machine for the Hawkeyes, and Beckett, who was the Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and this Makai Sargent had a good week. I mean, he's powerfully built, was really effective in the Big Ten this year once they started playing football, and he just hides behind a massive offensive line right now for a good game. Okay.
Well, we did have a penalty flag on that last sequence. The referee here this evening, Steve Strimling, one of several Pac-12 officials work in this game. We had too many men on the field. It was being sorted out at the moment.
That won't make Mike Singletary very happy. I mean, they went through a walkthrough yesterday, and they announced, starting offense, starting defense. They went through all of the checks that you would before any game, but still, a lot of these players are playing multiple roles because they're a little thin in some positions.
And make no mistake, this is an all-star type of circumstance, but these coaches, Rex Ryan and Mike Singletary, if you were watching practice, they were into it.
No doubt. Mike Singletary spent the week coaching his linebackers like it was, like it was the Chicago Bears.
Here's Sargent again. He's able to push through a mass of blue jerseys, and he gets first down yardage, the first for Team Ina.
Yeah, let's take a look right here at Tavante Beckett out of Marshall. I mean, he had some kind of season. He averaged in 2019 over 10 tackles per game, but this is a guy that had 4 fumble recoveries, led the nation in 2019. Finds a way to get to the football. Reminds me a lot of Neville Hewitt, who started linebacker for the Jets all year.
Second team All-American selection Beckett was, according to the Football Writers Association, as Makai Sargent is stuffed. Raymond Johnson III out of Georgia Southern, and Naquan Jones out of Michigan State, 6'4", 335-pounder. The coaches were yapping about him all week.
Yeah, and he had an ankle injury this week. He missed about a day of practice, but he said Rex Ryan challenged him. He said, look, I'll give you a day off. I need you on the field on Sunday. And Naquan was just a mammoth defensive tackle at Michigan State. Sparty with some of the best defenses in the country in 2018 and 19.
Graduated in December with a bachelor's degree in advertising management. Second down here. And you see some of the athleticism of Moore, buying time, extending the play, and completing it downfield, down to the 45, close to midfield. Trey Walker out of San Jose State, 5'11", 180-pounder on the 27-yard gain.
And you're right, this is a little bit of what David Moore can give you. He can extend the play the way you almost have to nowadays, and he finds Walker on the crossing route right there and delivered to him beautifully. Sometimes when you're throwing that ball over the middle, you don't want to be late with it, and you can't be behind him. He put it right on him.
What a season for Trey Walker and the San Jose State Spartans. They went 7-1, claimed the Mountain West Championship. And, well, Trey Walker, when he played in this stadium earlier this season, caught a 50-yard touchdown. So he likes this environment, that's for sure. Here is Corey Taylor getting first down yardage for Team Ina as they continue to mix it up, throwing and running out of Tulsa. Taylor able to get it.
Yeah, well, he's a Golden Hurricane, but he's the biggest back they have, and he's got power to him. You can see it. I mean, you can see him just from this view right here. Good cut, and now he's just going to make it difficult to get him down. And that's a good first down run. First down on 13 yards. They'll take it. They're going to rotate these backs. We've seen Sargent. We've seen Taylor. They've got 4 of them that we'll see here today.
12-yard gain for Taylor. So 1st and 10 inside the Kai 40. And again, it is Taylor redirecting for a gain of about 3, maybe 4. Ziande Johnson again there on the stop.
Yeah, the right guard, Braylon Jones out of Houston, he pulled on this play. Kind of opened up the hole a little bit. You're going to see 55 pulling. He's called a G scheme right there. And then following right behind him was Peter Nestowitz. And that was a good little hole on the right side as we take a look at Ziande Johnson. Both teams are a 4-man front, 4 defensive linemen. they'll have either 2 or 3 linebackers depending on how many wide receivers are on the field.
They're calling it 2nd and 7 here for Team Ina. Moore fires to the near side. It is caught. And going out of bounds is Antoine Davis, the Ball State receiver out of St. John's, Indiana.
But that was just a throw by David Moore on timing that time. I mean, just a 3-step drop, got the ball out, easy completion. As he talks to Jim Zorn, the offensive coordinator, you know, the great Seattle Seahawk as a quarterback and an old southpaw. We don't see very many southpaws playing the football at quarterback much anymore.
Jim Zorn spent 16 years as a coach in the NFL, including that stint as head coach of the Redskins.
2 backs in the backfield on either side of Moore right here.
Yeah, that's Jones, Jamal Jones out of Arkansas State, and Taylor on first down. And the give is to Taylor. And again, it goes for positive yardage. Jared Hewitt chasing it down from behind, the Virginia Tech defensive tackle.
I'm just watching Peter Nestowitz from the Naval Academy. Now, he started 23 straight games for the Naval Academy. Here he's number 64 pulling. Good pull. Got a good hit on Johnson right there. Back cut right off it. But when you watch Nestowitz play, I mean, he moves bodies. He's a good run blocker. And of course, he blocked for Malcolm Perry 2 years ago. He now plays for the Miami Dolphins. And what a quarterback Malcolm Perry was for the Middies there in Annapolis. And Nestowitz was a big part of that.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic year for Kenny Niumatalolo's program. They went 3-7 in 2020.
And shut out by Army. That's not sitting well.
Army, the winner of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, of course, this past season, as Moore ran out of room, but was still able to make the completion for a gain of about 2.
One thing I like about David Moore, just watching this week, he seems to never panic. He plays with poise. We've seen him roll out of the pocket here a couple of times here today. Eyes are up, all right, seeing the field, finding the open receiver.
So he didn't play in 2020. He failed a pair of drug tests regarding banned substances, and so he was facing a situation where the NCAA was looking to suspend him again. He ended up winning an appeal, and again, speculation as to whether or not he was going to come back. He decides, you know what, I think it's time for me to try to turn the page here to another chapter.
I think he has to. I think, you know, this is, you know, last chance you right now for him, you know, trying to get that opportunity.
Steps up in the pocket, throws a perfect strike right on the numbers to Trey Walker, who is making some waves on the receiving end, and inside the 10-yard line goes Team Ina. 13-yard gainer there.
I thought good block this time by Keon Smith, the left tackle, number 78. He's going against a good pass rusher in Max Roberts. Did a good job staying inside out, and that allowed David Moore to find time there to get the ball down the field to Trey Walker.
When Moore did play, starting 4 out of 6 games in 2019, he threw for over 1,100 yards and 5 TDs with a 57% completion rate. Started his career at Memphis in 2017.
I transferred there, went to the junior college route, and ended up a Chippewa.
And here is a give to Jamal Jones, running for that near pylon, and then gets twisted and tugged out of bounds, short of the goal line.
Touchdown saving tackle.
Yeah, that's Jordan Peters from Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, because I thought he had a good angle right here to get the ball into the end zone. Watching Jamal Jones now, I think we've seen all 4 backs here. But that's a good tackle, touchdown saving tackle by Peters.
So a 2nd and goal situation here for Team Ina.
It is a good drive, and it's really sustained. It's been a good mix of David Moore extending plays, finding receivers, and then running the ball.
Jamal Jones is the single setback. And Moore's going to keep it. He's going to drive for the goal line. Does he get in? Yes, he does. Puts the capper on an 11-play, 90-yard scoring drive to break the ice here for Team Ina.
And it looked like it was a little shaky. Like there's just a fake whether Jamal Jones was going to get it or Moore was going to keep it. But, you know, in that situation, you just got to tuck that ball away. A little indecision right there, but then you just tuck it away, and then you just become the athlete. And we've seen him score. We've seen him extend plays with his legs right now, keeping the plays alive beyond the X's and O's. And Team Ina on the board first. And it was a great drive by David Moore.
How about a 7-minute, 53-second drive?
Yeah. That was a good mix of plays that time.
So Chris Nagar out of SMU on for the point after. Colton Menges, the Alcorn State long snapper here, and Tyson Dyer, the punter, will hold. And it is straight down the middle. So 7-0, Team Ina strikes first. Following a gargantuan drive capped by David Moore, taking it in himself. So Jim Zorn, offensive coordinator for Team Ina, has to be pleased after that long drive, Brian.
I talked to him at the pregame meal today, and I said, Jim, is the hay in the barn? It's an old coach's term. Are you done installing? He goes, I had to stop on Thursday, Baldy. I kept coming up with ideas, and I don't want to overload these guys. They're only practicing for 4 days. I can't give them a whole playbook.
And really, yesterday a walkthrough, it was 3 relatively full days of practice as the kick finds its way into the end zone. And we will take a break. A $1.09 left to play here in quarter number 1 at Aloha Stadium. Team Ina up 7 on Team Kai.
Back here on the Team Ina sidelines with David Moore, the quarterback out of Central Michigan, the architect of that massive 90-yard scoring drive to finally get Team Ina on the board. David, it's been a little while since you've been on the field at all, let alone to lead a drive like that. Tell me how you felt and how it felt to drive down the field like that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it just felt great being out there with some teammates. I mean, even though I don't know these guys very well, you know, we built some camaraderie this week, so it was just great to be out there and competing, man. That's the biggest thing I've missed, was being able to compete.
In a game like this where you just put an offense in on Wednesday, you only get a couple of days to meet the guys and to really develop a relationship. To have a sustained drive like that in an all-star game is an impressive feat.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I just want to give it up to first off, the offensive line and the receivers for being able to understand their responsibilities, and then Coach Zorn for spending a lot of time with me and making sure that I'm able to know what I got to do.
Quarterback David Moore has Team Ina on the board. Kanoa, we'll send it back upstairs to you.
Thanks a lot, Ian. Yeah, good to see that smile from David Moore, well-earned. Not only is he out to prove something, he's out for a bit of redemption himself.
He said camaraderie. I thought the players really built camaraderie at the hotel, the Aloha Hotel. It's a fabulous facility.
As we were hearing from David Moore, it was a Trey Harbison run on the first play from scrimmage for Team Kai. And here is Harbison now out of the backfield on the reception. So a lot of activity here for the Charlotte 49ers. 49ers went 2-4 in 2020. Harbison started 5 of the 6 games, leading the team in rushing 3 times.
Well, anytime you can show the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, that always gets scouts' attention from the running back position.
Again, it's Harbison, so a steady dose of Trey here on this possession for Team Kai, and he has them close to midfield as the first quarter runs to zeros. So a 7-0 advantage for Team Ina. Team Kai hoping to forge a response. Welcome back to beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. For many of the players participating in this 2021 Hula Bowl, it was their first experience traveling to the 50th state. And we were talking with them all week, and hey, look, COVID, it botched things up. They couldn't do some of the cultural activities that they otherwise would have in any other year, but they were out at the beach. They were taking in the sun. They were loving
it. I saw them surfing yesterday.
Did you?
Yes, they were taking surf lessons, some of them yesterday.
Well, don't tell the scouts that. Here's a handoff to C.J. Marable, breaking through and getting the gain of about 7 yards.
This C.J. Marable is some kind of player. I mean, he is quick. He's explosive. All right, he's got good vision. And you know, Coastal Carolina, they beat BYU when they were undefeated. They only lost this year. And he was the star of the show. 2 touchdowns. He told me, you know, this week, he said, we knew that we were going to beat the Cougars that day. And that was one of the big upsets in college football this season.
Yeah, the Chanticleers almost completed an unbeaten season. Lost to Liberty, though, in the FBC Mortgage Bowl, 37-34, as that is a completion. That will go for a big yardage. Cavante Moses, 6'2", 245-pounder from Shaw University, a D2 school that postponed its season did not play in 2020.
Well, this is one of those reasons why these guys got to have a chance to play. Ball in the middle of the field, not perfectly thrown, but you see the athletic ability, the ability to adjust to the ball in the air and have the body control to bring it in. That's a big play that keeps this drive alive.
Yeah, good gain there, 13 yards, moving the chains. So 1st and 10 at the 31. Marable and Tucker are the split backs. Big handoff here by White. And he swings it out, but it goes through Tucker's arms and falls incomplete.
Well, C.J. Marable at Coastal Carolina ran an offense where they had 2 backs in the backfield that straddled the quarterback. And they ran a lot of options and pitch options, and teams had a lot of trouble with it, and they've installed some of that here in this Team Chi offense.
Yeah, Marable averaged over 5 yards per carry this past season, was a first-team All-Sun Belt selection.
19 touchdowns.
2nd and 10. White, short drop, drops it off to Donnie Corley. And he's able to get some yards after the catch, and that should be enough for another Team Chi first down. Rashad Bird out of Georgia Southern on the stop, but not after a gain of 11.
Former Eagles wide receiver Jordan Matthews, the wide receiver coach here, and he said that Corley was their best route runner. Super smooth, and you see that. He breaks the tackle of Isaiah Dunn out there on the edge to pick up that first down, but he is smooth in and out of his breaks, very fluid athlete.
Ball at the 20. Team Chi threatening to respond to that last Team Ina 90-yard scoring drive. The dump off to Israel Tucker, and again, Bird there to make the tackle. That's going to be a gain of 7.
So one of the things that Brady White just did, the quarterback, was he really trusted his protection. He did what we call climb the pocket that time, kept his eyes down the field, and that's a nice little dump off right there. Now just take that check down, take the yardage and set up a nice 2nd and 4 here. Put that team on schedule, 2nd and 3, I guess.
Brady White, who was the MVP of the Montgomery Bowl. It was the first Memphis Bowl victory since 2014. 2nd down, and that pass short of its target. The target was T.J. Simmons of West Virginia.
He bounced that ball off the turf because he didn't follow through, and he didn't step into the throw, and that's what happens to quarterbacks when mechanically you're just not sound. I mean, there's no reason for that, but if you don't follow your mechanics and stay on top of them, and sometimes, some of these guys haven't played since December this year, and so it's been a while now. You got to get back to the fundamentals of playing.
Yeah, some players were even commenting that conditioning was a bit of an issue earlier in the week. White on the move, going to throw on the run, and it falls incomplete.
Well, I thought he could have taken that and just pulled it down. He made the throw there to Corley in the end zone, but I thought he could have run for it. I thought that's what he was going to do.
And that will bring up 4th down, and it looks...
But here he is right here. He climbs the pocket. Eyes are up right here. He's looking. I thought right now, decision, just go get that first down. Get the first down, get down, get a new set of downs, and then keep marching.
And so on for the field goal is David Cote, 6'4", 215-pound kicker out of Laval in Canada. And the kick is up, and it is good from 32 yards. So with 10:52 left to play in the first half, Team Chi didn't get the touchdown they were hoping to respond with, but they do put points on the board.
The 2021 Hula Bowl on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Big heart and low fares. Book now at southwest.com. By the Hawaiian Islands. Take a trip that gives back and Malama or care for Hawaii with us. And by Polynesian Adventure. See what story awaits you on our islands.
Welcome back to Honolulu, Hawaii, the 2021 Hula Bowl. That last drive for Team Chi, 11 plays covering 62 yards, 5 minutes, 17 seconds, resulted in a 32-yard David Cote field goal, and Cote on the ensuing kickoff. And it is received by Khalil McClain. So a touchback there for Team Ina.
Looks like there's going to be a change at quarterback. Looks like Peyton Ramsey from Northwestern is going to take over for David Moore after that last impressive drive of 11 plays, 90 yards. Going to give the shot here to Ramsey.
Yeah, David Moore on that last drive was 4 for 4 for 51 yards, also ran in the touchdown. But it is Peyton Ramsey. What a year for Pat Fitzgerald and the Wildcats. 7-2. The only losses were to Michigan State and Ohio State. And Ramsey able to complete his first attempt to Trey Walker, who's starting to compile some stats.
Of course, the transfer from Indiana had a great season this year for Pat Fitzgerald's team at Northwestern. Started 9 games this year, threw for almost 2,000 yards. So, comes in with a pretty good resume. Also ran the ball for 3 touchdowns too. So he's got that ability to extend plays and take off with it.
Out of the shotgun, Spencer Brown, the UAB back, gets the handoff, and he's going to plunge for a first down. Gain of 3, enough to move the sticks. Raymond Johnson, the third out of Georgia Southern, again on the stop.
Yeah, what a career Spencer Brown had for the Blazers of UAB. I mean, he's the all-time leading rushing leader there in his career at UAB. Powerful back.
How about over 4,000 rushing yards, 41 career touchdowns. He's also the Conference USA Championship game MVP with 149 yards in UAB's 22-13 victory over Marshall. So Brown back there with Mekhi Sargent, and Ramsey has to avoid some pressure. Now rolling, throwing on the run, and it falls incomplete. Looks like he was looking the way of another UAB guy, Myron Mitchell.
Here's the pressure here from Max Roberts, number 44, coming off your left side. I mean, just smoked on the backside of Cyrus Tuatele. He missed a lot of time in practice this week, but good job by Peyton Ramsey of feeling that pressure and stepping up to avoid the sack. There's Roberts. And just watching Max Roberts practice this week, the one-on-ones, at times he seemed almost unblockable. I mean, he's got a good bend to him, he's got a good burst, and he's got some power to him. And everybody's looking for that guy that can get to a quarterback.
4.5 sacks, as well as 6 tackles for losses for Max Roberts in 2020. 2nd down and 10 here. Ball at the 37-yard line for Team Ina. And that one may have been tipped at the line. Antoine Davis, the intended target. And some good push up front the last couple of sequences by this Team Chi defensive line.
I thought it was Javon Swan that got a hand up at the defensive lineman out of Indiana there. What a year that the Hoosiers had in the Big Ten. But I thought that was, he got a finger up there and just deflected that ball. And, they always tell the defensive lineman, if you can't get there, get your hands up. And there's nothing more frustrating for a quarterback than to have a batted ball.
So that brings up 3rd down. And again, the pressure coming. Ramsey steps up in the pocket, fires to the near side, but overthrows the intended target, Antoine Davis. Well, we saw after that long drive by Team Ina, led by David Moore, resulted in a touchdown. We saw Rex Ryan group his defensive units together, and he was getting into it.
Well, he was, because, they're playing man coverage. And so, Rex will tell you, if you back up, you give it up. You step up, you clean it up. And so I think he was just like, get on these guys. Make them beat you. And I thought that was good coverage that time by E.J. Muhammad, being able to defend that, what we call just a fade route. We call it a spray fade, different names for it, but good coverage on it.
So the punt by Tyson Dyer, averaged 40 yards per punt in 2020. It's a good one. Finds its way into the end zone for a touchback. 7:25 left to play in the first half of the 2021 Hula Bowl. Team Ina on top, 7-3. Welcome back to Aloha Stadium. We pointed out a couple of them already, but several players from the Armed Forces Academies participating here in this 2021 Hula Bowl.
There sure are, and there's some incredible talent here. Cameron Kinley, the cornerback from United States Naval Academy, I mean, he's the president of the academy. I mean, and he wants to be president of the United States. He was president of his high school, valedictorian. There he is. He had a great season this year. Nestowitz started 23 straight games. Parker Ferguson, the Air Force Academy, led the nation in rushing. And he told me it was 336.7 yards per game. He told me exactly what it was down the field today.
But who's counting, right?
Right.
KJ Costello out of Mississippi State is the quarterback. He throws to CJ Marable out of the backfield for a short gain. Zane Anderson, the BYU safety, on the stop. And so we get our first look at KJ Costello out of Rancho Santa Margarita, California. Bulldogs went 4-7 in 2020, but boy, did he splash onto the scene.
Yeah.
An SEC record, 623 yards passing and 5 touchdowns in the opener versus LSU. He is a transfer from Stanford.
Well, that's the thing. He started at Stanford as well, and he's a grad transfer from Stanford. So, he's playing football here, but he's got that degree from Stanford. You could do a lot with that.
He did miss 5 games with injury, though. After that record-breaking performance, things did come back down to earth a little bit.
Was it?
For Mike Leach and his career.
Well, I was going to say, wasn't Mike Leach at Mississippi State this year? I mean, he did put up some phenomenal numbers, and quarterbacks do like playing for Mike Leach because you're going to learn some, let's just say, far-out type of principles of how to play quarterback.
Yeah, not just football principles, but maybe life principles.
He told me one day that he'd like to run an offense with no playbook. That way the defense wouldn't have any keys.
The consummate out-of-the-box thinker, Mike Leach. 3rd down here and 3 on the 27-yard line. Costello able to complete the pass. Ball gets knocked loose. Was it a catch or an incompletion becomes the question. They are ruling it a catch.
Yeah.
And so it was recovered by, I believe, C.J. Marable. John Rain was the receiver, and so that will be enough for a first down.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Ooh.
4th down. The receiver never had control of the ball.
All right, well, they initially placed the ball, and then after a short conference, the officials, I guess, decided that was an incompletion. What say you, Baldy?
Well, I think they're right. I think that's the right call. Elijah Sullivan hit him. I never thought he had possession and did, that football move with the ball possessed. I think each team is allowed a challenge.
Correct.
So I don't know that Rex Ryan wants to use that challenge on this play or not.
So Zach von Rosenberg will be punting it away. Myron Mitchell.
Myron Mitchell's got some speed now. I mean, there's no punt returns in the game here today for a lot of reasons. But, I mean, this guy, when he runs, I mean, you can feel the speed.
Yeah, between Myron Mitchell and Spencer Brown, the UAB guys were representing here this week in Hawaii.
Well, maybe there's
Team
some.
Kai is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Okay, I mean, Rex, he just threw the red challenge flag, and he's got one in his pocket, and he wants to use it because he wants to hopefully win it and keep possession of the ball.
A little smile, a wry smile on the face of Rex Ryan.
Talking to Rich Miano down there, the director here of the Hula Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah.
Rich Miano, your former teammate with Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, and just to take a look again here to John Rain, the tight end. Sullivan hits him. Well, from that angle right there, you can't tell. Now, it was ruled, it's been ruled both ways. It's been ruled a fumble, and then it was ruled an incomplete pass. So you're going to have to see some evidence to see that he made that football move before the ball got poked out.
James Decker is the replay official, so we await a conclusion to this challenge, but Ryan's still smiling about this.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as incomplete. Team Kai will be charged with their first time out and their first challenge. It's 4th down.
Now, this is a good angle right here because right here Sullivan hits him, and you see the ball pops right loose. I think they got it right. Won't make Rex happy, but then he's done with his challenges. He won't have that opportunity for the rest of the day.
And so now we proceed with Zach von Rosenberg's ensuing punt. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It is fielded inside the 20 by Jalen McLean Sapp out of Marshall. So inside the 20, that will result in a touchback for Team Ina. Well, coming up at halftime, we will get into the class of 2021 Hula Bowl Hall of Fame inductees. Also, we'll have a hula performance by the award-winning Halau Manaola.
Well, the Hawaiian Tourism Authority, they love this event. I mean, you've been part of it for a long time now. It's growing, this Polynesian Hall of Fame. They have a great week. They're inducting some really great former players that in the NFL that have really put the Polynesian community on the map in the game of football, and it's really important to the whole culture.
53-yard punt, by the way. As Team Ina gets back to work, it is Makai Sargent on the carry, and there's Ziande Johnson again on the stop. And we mentioned the Halau Manaola in the hula performance. It is the namesake of Manaola Yap, who provided us and Ian Shearing and Kainoa Carlson down on the field with these lovely shirts that we're sporting.
I'm sleeping in mine tonight. I like it so much. Yeah. There's a shirt. Got the red and the blue. The Ina and the Kai teams. Looking at Rex Ryan there with the lei, the Hawaiian lei around his neck. He likes Hawaii now.
Oh, he does.
He enjoys his time here.
He has the tattoos to prove it.
Yes.
He has actually been tattooed a series of times. Tribal tattoos here in Hawaii as the pass is picked off on the far side by Nick McLeod, the Notre Dame corner, coming up with the play. He had an interception in 2020. He was a second-team All-ACC selection, and he was all over that.
He sure was. I didn't think the receiver did a good job of coming back to the football. So Nick McLeod, with the ball's in the air, it's his ball. And you're going to see this throw. It's not a bad throw by Ramsey here. It's a little late to the outside, but you can see, I thought, that Myron Mitchell didn't do enough to come back and fight for that football. And McLeod is the benefactor. And I thought he was going to keep the ball. I'm sure they're going to put it in some trophy case. What a year that the Gophers had, of course, until they got to the playoffs this year.
You had to go up against Alabama in the college football playoff semifinal. That's a tough assignment for anybody.
Some NFL teams who wouldn't want that.
And that pass is completed down to the 20-yard line as Costello gets it to Rico Bussey. So another catch for Bussey. This one goes for 16 yards.
Well, on this throw right here, really, ball comes out on timing, a little play action fake right there, and Bussey goes low to catch it. And I just think, when he's in the slot, he can run every route. I mean, he can run the pivot route, the arrows, the angle routes. I mean, he can put his foot in the ground and change direction pretty well.
Opportunity knocking here for Team Kai. Costello, though, in trouble, just got it away before everything collapsed on him.
Well, they just put this play in yesterday. It was a play to C.J. Marable, and Team Kai covered it really well, but it's just a seam route out of a two-back set. You're going to see number 7. He's going down the seam. But right there, they've got two guys on him, So you got to go someplace else with the ball. But I remember just yesterday, Mark Sanchez telling me about the play, and he ran that play at Coastal Carolina with some success, but that time it was well defended.
2nd and 10 here, ball at the 21 for Team Kai. And it is a give to Israel Tucker. And look at this pile move just a tad all the way down to the 15. Well, while we have a little pause in the action, let's send it down to Kainoa Carlson.
I know they have been running a lot of hits, so it was just me reading the quarterback pretty good. So I got a pretty good break on it, so it was just good to get my hands on the ball. So yeah. Yep.
All right, a little issue there with Kainoa's microphone, but we got the gist of it there on the reaction as that pass is incomplete to C.J. Marable. That's going to bring up 4th down. What I liked about the walkthrough yesterday and some of the install was both teams were doing a dual walkthrough session here on the Aloha Stadium field. And so Rex Ryan, the always wily Rex Ryan, was noticing that some of the Team Ina coaches were looking over what they were doing. They started doing halfback passes. They started doing direct snaps. They were throwing everything in there.
Well, it's just subterfuge of coaches. They're going to give them something to think about. Hey, they're not allowed to throw a halfback pass. So Rex put one in. Let them think about it and chew on it all night.
So another field goal attempt here for David Cote. This one 33 yards out. And it is good. So Cote 2 for 2, 1 from 32, 1 from 33. And we have a 1-point ball game here at Aloha Stadium.
Well, they took advantage of the takeaway there by McLeod, and they set him up with good field position. And so right now, Rex is playing it safe, not going for it on fourth downs, trusting his kicker. Not always easiest to trust. You know, I saw him miss a bunch of kicks during practice. Rex was rolling his eyes. Said, we're not leaving today until we make a kick. And so it paid off right now because he's got 2 of them.
So 2:35 left to play here in the first half. That drive, 5 plays, covered 22 yards, took 2 minutes, 19 seconds off of the clock. Well, this is the second year of the return of the Hula Bowl after about a dozen years in hiatus. And last year, some success stories to speak of. You had 2 players drafted in Stanley Thomas Oliver and Lacavius Simmons. You also had 18 players signed as free agents. One of them, Nico Lalos, was the defensive MVP for Team Aina, and he made the squad with the Giants and actually contributed in a big way a couple of weeks.
Not just that. And back-to-back weeks, he had an interception, which was a highlight play. And the following week, a fumble recovery. And this is when the Giants had put together a 4-game win streak and got back into the race in the NFC East, and he was a big part of it. And so his opportunity came here because, let's face it, even though he was, not a lot of guys from Dartmouth, just coming into the NFL. He needed another game, another opportunity, and he took advantage of it.
And you get that vibe when you talk to these players. They want to be here. This is obviously a fun week, but you can see there is an assignment and a mission that they're looking to achieve as Mekhi Sargent breaks out into the open field, and he'll get across midfield before finally being taken down by Nate Hobbs, the Illinois corner.
The offensive line did a good job of giving him a seam, and then he just, then he used his vision and his burst to pop it right here. And so you're going to see just a good job by the Tennessee center right there, Brandon Kennedy. All right, and now he's going to run away from Cullen. Good open field tackle right there to get him off his feet. But Mekhi Sargent, really the biggest play of the game so far.
This is the Hula Bowl, 2-minute warning.
So 2-minute warning is part of the rule book here for the Hula Bowl. Again, de facto NFL rules. So with timeout on the field, we'll take one as well. 7-6, Aina.
Back here at the Hula Bowl, and I'm looking at number 55, Braylon Jones. I really was impressed by him this year and this week. 33 starts for the Houston Cougars. And on that last play, he pulled and really led the charge this time. Watch, he's the right guard. He's going to be pulling left to right on the screen, number 55. And sometimes when I heard him, good hit right there on Max Roberts, I could hear his hits when he pulled. And that's one of the things here, scouts, they listen to things like that because he's got some pop to him. And he popped Max Roberts that time and sprung Mekhi Sargent loose, and that's one of those things, and he's thick in all the right places. He's got pythons coming out of those sleeves right there. I like that. Spent some time in a weight room.
Was able to spring Sargent for a 27-yard gain. Mekhi Sargent, by the way, 4 rushes, 43 yards so far in this one. Ramsey, he's going to tuck and go, and he will slide after a gain. They'll give him 2 yards, it appears. Justin Hughes was closing in, the linebacker out of Kansas State.
I like this 2-minute warning that they have here because I think all quarterbacks need work in the 2-minute drill. Up-tempo here, getting the play from Jim Zorn. The only communication between coach and players, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback. He's just taking note here. They'd love to get points here before halftime.
Ball on the Team Kai 46-yard line. And Peyton Ramsey, the Northwestern QB, continues to run the offense. This will be a give to Corey Taylor. Nice little shimmy move to get a few extra yards and then finally rolled up after a gain of 4.
Pretty good chase in the backside by Jarrett Hewitt that time to bring him down from Virginia Tech.
First charge timeout, Team Aina. Please put 1 minute and 11 seconds on the game clock.
Team Aina with the timeout there. 1:08 left to play here in this first half.
Well, they might very well be in 2-down territory here. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. I think Mike Singletary, doing the head coaching job, not calling any plays here, but I think this is an opportunity where you could be in 2-down territory if you don't get all 4 yards here on this 3rd down. Pretty good defensive front there for Team Kai. Looking at Naquan Jones, along with a couple other guys that got some beef in the middle there. Good matchup up front.
So it could be a significant third down play here for Team Ina. Corey Taylor is the running back, lining up next to Peyton Ramsey. Ramsey wrapped up, and he is brought down. Naquan Jones right on cue, Baldy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got power, and he's got size. And when you look at him, you go, this is what an NFL defensive tackle looks like. Nice move that time. He actually beat Braylon Jones, and then he swam back inside. A little spin inside at the end to finish that play. But really, I saw 3 moves from him. And I talked to him about it this week. I said, it's not your first move, Naquan. It's your second or your third move that you're going to win in the NFL. And he just beat Braylon Jones that time with a little crossover dribble move, a swim, and then a spin at the end to get the sack. And that's off of he's playing with a bad ankle, but I don't think he's thinking about that bad ankle right now.
I think the smile says otherwise for sure. Tyson Dyer now on to punt. Team Kai took a timeout, by the way, to preserve a little bit of extra time here with 1:04 on the clock. That was a loss of 5 yards. Jeremiah Heidel and Eli Stove out of Auburn back to receive this Dyer punt. A low end over ender. And it will sail out of bounds. We'll see where they spot this. It will be inside the 20. Looks like they will place it at the 15-yard line. So ways to go here for Team Kai, but opportunity nonetheless for them to maybe go into halftime with the advantage.
Well, they're going to, in order to do that, they're going to need an explosive play here. We really haven't seen the deep ball from either team so far. Both teams are playing press man coverage on the outside, and so it's an opportunity. Rico Bussey, somebody to beat man coverage and take a shot down the field right now.
And it will be KJ Costello to direct this, what could be last drive of the first half. That was a 32-yard punt, by the way, by Dyer. Costello stepping up. Now he's going to throw out of bounds. Had a man open. That was Heidel out of Texas State, who had 40 receptions for 408 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2020. He was open.
Yeah, he was open. He's on that play, Costello's got to drive that ball. I mean, that's not a ball that you float like that. That's a ball that you got to stick, and you got to drive it. And that can be a function of arm strength, and that's not the greatest quality of KJ Costello.
So 2nd and 10 from the 15. Costello now just chucks it to the back. That is Israel Tucker, and he's able to get out for a gain of 15 yards.
Yeah, but in these hurry up, drives with under a minute to go, you need a drive starter, and that little check down there kind of gets this drive started.
Now they go no huddle. Costello under pressure, wrapped up, throws while
he got out in time.
Yeah, while his ankle was sort of being tucked, and he was able to get it off.
The ball was touched accidentally by a lineman. Number 87 was in the area of the pass. It's 2nd down.
That was Carlo Kemp out of Michigan applying the pressure, Baldy.
Carlo Kemp's had a good week. I mean, he's a solid player. He's an interior player, kind of undersized, but he beats you with quickness. And he got upfield on the outside of the guard that time to create that pressure.
So the clock frozen at 25 seconds. Fake handoff here. Costello will now throw. It is Bussey on the catch.
Beautiful.
Into Team Ina territory. All the way to the 45-yard line, 24-yard gain. The tackle made.
3rd and final timeout, Team Kai.
As you hear the Team Kai announced timeout, the tackle made by Yuya Watanabe out of Japan.
Yeah, and I tell you, that was some throw that time by Costello. Now that's a drive throw. That's the one that he missed before, but he came back and stuck it. And Bussey and showing some good hands. He had extent for that ball, but sticky fingers right there.
Yeah, a little over-the-shoulder action there for Rico Bussey. And how about Yuya Watanabe, 5'11", 205-pounder from Hasei University in Japan.
It's interesting about.
Jeff, is he talking about
It's interesting about Japanese players. Really, it's a cultural thing. But once they start playing one sport, they stay with the sport. And it's not like us where we'll go from basketball to track to football. I mean, you pick a sport, you stay with it. Baseball, like you stay with it, and that's what he has done.
So 1st and 10, 17 seconds to go here before the intermission. Costello rolling to his left.
Nice.
And he completes it for another first down. That one complete to TJ Simmons. So it's NFL rules. They will keep the clock going as they move the chains here. 4 seconds. They got to get it off. This could be the last-ditch effort. They do
1 second.
get the clock stopped at 1 second.
I tell you, that time Costello showed you another part of his arsenal, because he rolled left hard, being chased. But he's at the end, watch him. He's going to square his shoulders to the line of scrimmage. That's the key to the accuracy. That's just a second, just to square the shoulders, just to be able to make that throw on the run. That's a good drive by KJ Costello, really good.
And so now David Cote, who has made a 32-yarder and a 33-yarder, attempting a 52-yard field goal that would give Team Kai the lead going into halftime. The kick is low, but it is long enough, but it is wide right. And so that's how the first 2 quarters will come to an end. It will be Team Ina preserving a 1-point advantage. That 90-yard, almost 8-minute drive representing the only touchdown of this first frame. 7-6 Team Ina. Let's send it down to Ian Shearing.
On the sideline now with Mekhi Sargent, running back out of the University of Iowa. We saw you just now cheering as that kick went up and ultimately fell a little bit short. The enthusiasm out here for you guys has been high so far.
I think it started at practice, everybody coming together, working hard as a team. Everyone's come from all over the world just to come together to learn this playbook. It's just been an honor to be here. I thought we picked it up pretty fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you get a bunch of guys who come together, only have met this week, to install an offense like this can be a tough task. What's it going to take for you guys to continue to get the offense rolling with a little more consistency in the second half?
Like you just said, the enthusiasm, it starts with enthusiasm. The sideline cheering the guys on the field on, and, from there we just make plays.
Mekhi, thanks for your time. We're going to send it now over to Kainoa Carlson, who's with Team Kai.
Thank you for having me.
Mahalo, Ian. A guy who knows all about Aloha Stadium. We got Rico Bussey in the house, University of Hawaii receiver. Great half out there, a couple of catches. Offense struggling a little bit, but you're doing your thing, man. What are you seeing out there? What's working for you?
Just like the cross routes, we running the ball real good too. And really, we just got to get in our groove because a lot of things are open.
In an all-star game like this, not a lot of time to go over the X's and O's offensively, defensively, but how's the talk in the huddle? You guys feeling like you're on the same page?
Yes, sir. The coaches did a good job of keeping it simple enough for us to learn everything, and they coached it real good. So we're at this point to where we could do tempo, to be honest.
We need the tempo to get going. 7-6. Looking forward to you in the second half. Back up to the booth.
Thanks a lot, Kainoa. A couple of standouts from the first 2 quarters of the 2021 Hula Bowl. We have plenty of football remaining, but for now it is halftime in Honolulu. It is halftime here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Team Ina leads Team Kai in the 2021 Hula Bowl 7-6. Another year of the Hula Bowl brings about another year of Hula Bowl Hall of Fame inductees.
Jesse Sapolu. The 1983 Hula Bowl was a home game for Sapolu, who attended Oahu's Farrington High School before attending the University of Hawaii. In 1983, after an all-WAC career with the Rainbow Warriors, the San Francisco 49ers used an 11th round pick on the offensive lineman. The 289th pick overall would spend all 11 of his NFL seasons with the 49ers. He helped protect Hall of Fame quarterbacks Joe Montana and Steve Young. He helped open holes for Hall of Fame running back Roger Craig. Twice, number 61 was named to the NFC's Pro Bowl team, which meant a free trip home. And, oh, yeah, Sapolu won not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Super Bowls. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring. The Hula Bowl Hall of Fame welcomes Jesse Sapolu. Tim Brown. Some say he walked on water to get to Hawaii for the 1987 Hula Bowl. Some say, what? Yeah, Brown was so fast he ran across the water to the game. And after all, he did go to Notre Dame. His collegiate career in South Bend, legendary. Brown won the Heisman Trophy, awarded to college football's most outstanding player. Touchdown, Timmy! then spent 16 seasons in the NFL, where he is recognized as one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. 100 touchdown catches and nearly 15,000 yards during a 9-time Pro Bowl career. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And now it's the Hula Bowl Hall of Fame that welcomes Tim Brown. Drew Brees. Maui was on his mind in 2002 when the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year helped lead the North to a win. Brees with the first touchdown pass of the game. It would be his last collegiate TD pass, but after that, he would throw many more. Many, many more. Over a career that lasted many years. Many, many years. Brees' NFL career began in San Diego, where he was a Pro Bowler, and ends in New Orleans, where he was a Pro Bowler 12 times over. He holds more NFL passing records than you can list on the back of a football card. In 2009, he led the Saints to their first and only Super Bowl and was named the game's MVP. He's a future Pro Football Hall of Famer. No wait here, the Hula Bowl Hall of Fame welcomes Drew Brees. Steve Spurrier, what a career as a player and a coach. The 1966 Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Florida played in the 1967 Hula Bowl, threw for over 200 yards. That after a Gator career that to this day is recognized as one of the greatest in the program and the Southeastern Conference's history. Drafted in the first round by the San Francisco 49ers, Spurrier played 10 seasons in the NFL before pacing the sidelines in his signature visor as a college and professional football coach. Won a national title while coaching his alma mater in 1996 with Danny Werfel as his quarterback. That makes the head ball coach the first and still only Heisman Trophy winner to coach another Heisman Trophy winner. He's in the Orange Bowl Hall of Fame, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, and now the Hula Bowl Hall of Fame welcomes Steve Spurrier. Dr. Patrick O'Farrell, how are we here today during a global pandemic celebrating the present and past of this great game? Well, in part due to the work of Dr. O'Farrell, a long supporter of the Hula Bowl. It's Dr. O'Farrell, a West Point grad, a combat veteran, and former United States Army Lieutenant Colonel, who approached the biodefense company Synexus to install their technology at Aloha Stadium. It's the same technology afforded both teams at the 2020 World Series. Since its establishment in 1946, the Hula Bowl has always maintained a strong relationship with the men and women who serve our country. That relationship is only strengthened with Dr. Farrell on the team and in the Hula Bowl Hall of Fame.
A cast of absolute legends. Congratulations to the latest class of inductees to the Hula Bowl Hall of Fame. A special hula performance when we return. Welcome back to the 2021 Hula Bowl. It is halftime. Hula is known worldwide as a dance that stems out of the islands. Native Hawaiian hula practitioner and self-taught fashion designer Manaola Yap shares his story on what hula means to him. The hula performance shown is by the award-winning Halau Manaola under the direction of Kumuhula Nani Lim Yap.
What is hula? What is hula to me? When the chanting begins and the dancers start to move, a synergy happens. And as a dancer, you become consumed by the dance. As hula dancers, we are keepers of our history, an endless database of knowledge carefully kept and handed down through the generations. storytellers, we transcend through movement and are allowed the ability to travel beyond the veil of time and space. Hula allows us to not just tell a story, but to become it. When we dance, we become a part of the elemental cycles of nature, of heaven, of the earth, and of the sea. We honor these cycles through protocol and ritual to assure the balance of all life. We connect and give ourselves to the dance, forever transcending time and space. My name is Manaola, and this is what hula means to me. Welcome to the Hula Bowl 2021.
Mahalo to Manola Yap and Halau Manaola. 7-6 is your halftime score. Second half coming up. Welcome back. It's a beautiful evening here in Honolulu, Hawaii, as we get ready for second half action in the 2021 Hula Bowl. Team Aina leads Team Kai 7-6. Let's send it down to Ian Shearing, who is with Team Aina head coach Mike Singletary.
Kanoa, thank you very much. Here with the NFL Hall of Fame linebacker and coach, I can only imagine for a group of young men with NFL aspirations to hear the words of a Hall of Famer like yourself at halftime as their coach have a little extra weight. What did you tell the guys as you were preparing to come back out?
Well, really, just tell them to do much of what we've done in the first half. And I think it's really important that we turn it up a bit on defense and try and get some takeaways on the offensive side of the ball. Guys, let's protect the ball. And the guys really want to run the ball this half. So we'll see how we do that.
Coach Singletary, thanks for your time very much. Good luck in the second half. And now we're going to send it over to Kainoa Carlson, who's on the other sideline with Team Kai.
Thank you very much, Ian. Coach, real quick, down 7-6. What was the message at halftime?
No, man, we just got to change a couple things up defensively and then make sure we're still protect the football on offense. We'll be just fine.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you very much. Brian Kanoa, back up to you guys.
Rex Ryan seems really stressed here going into this second half, Baldy.
Well, he came here to win. I mean, that's first and foremost. And so he's got a plan. I think he made some adjustments after David Moore took Team Aina down the field for a 92-yard touchdown drive. And it seemed like from that moment on, the defense has tightened the screws quite a bit.
Now, you know both of these coaches personally as you take a look at the first half yardage and first down statistics. How much do they want to win this game?
I mean, it's in their blood. It really is. I mean, you know, I live in Philadelphia. They still honor Buddy Ryan in Philadelphia as maybe the best coach ever, even though he didn't win a Super Bowl. But they grew up there. They know that. And, you know, Mike Singletary, it's a week away from the Super Bowl and maybe the 85 Bears might have been the best defense we have seen in this league.
So
since maybe the steel curtain.
We'll see Team Ina here after the fair catch by Myron Mitchell bring out the offense again. And the quarterback here to start this second half is Zach Smith out of Tulsa, 6'2", 230-pounder, a native of Grandview, Texas. Started all 21 games in his 2 years at Tulsa. Played his first 2 years of college at Baylor.
Yeah, for Art Briles until there was a big change there in Waco, and he ended up transferring.
The give is to Corey Taylor. We saw some action for Taylor in that first half. So a little Tulsa to Tulsa handoff action there. As Max Roberts makes the stop, but here's a more detailed look at Zach Smith.
Well, you can see the size. I mean, the first thing you notice about him is, he looks the part, okay? And then they ran a kind of a wide open offense there at Tulsa, and he's got, his running back here. But he was a highly recruited player coming out of high school. And so Art Briles only was recruiting quarterbacks at that time that had pro aspirations. A number of them have gone on and played.
Yeah, it was a top 300 recruit, in fact, out of Grandview High School back in 2015. Says his favorite player, the guy he likes to try to model his game after, is Tom Brady. That's a pretty good one, I'd say. That's the standard. Here is Smith completing it over the middle to Giles Amos. Amos is a 6'3", 240-pound tight end out of Arkansas State.
Yeah, he was a walk-on. Won the Outstanding Scholar Award, too, there at Arkansas State. You talk about Tom Brady. We're about a week away from Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and Super Bowl 55 in Tampa. I mean, this is the football fix you get before Super Bowl Sunday next week.
We're glad we could provide the amuse-bouche for the main course next week.
Easy for you to say.
Second down and 2 here. It is a handoff to Jamal Jones, and he gets rolled back, stopped short by about 1.5 yards. Jared Hewitt led the charge.
No doubt. And Jared Hewitt, he started 33 games for the Hokies at Virginia Tech. And you don't play Virginia Tech, number 99 right here on your screen. He stands up, takes the left guard right there, and just Peter Nestowitz right there for Navy, and just disragged him right there. Just, stuffed him, disengaged, got off the block, and then made the tackle.
So Tyson Dyer back on to attempt the punt. Punting runs in his family. His brother punted at Louisiana Tech. And we've seen some good punting here. Not necessarily the thing you want to comment on too much in a football contest, but we've seen some good ones from these participating punters as Eli Stove fields it. And so they will flip things over, and it will be Team Kai bringing out the offense. Well, you mentioned the Super Bowl. We're on CBS Sports Network, so we're allowed to talk about it to this degree.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you what you find the most intriguing aspect of this thing.
Well, I mean, it starts with the quarterbacks, but really, if you look at the way Tampa's defense has played on the road with 3 playoff games so far, they've got 7 takeaways. They've scored 6 touchdowns off it. I mean, right now, the Bucs defense is making the plays, and we have seen the defense can win the championships.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, a new quarterback in for Team Kai, Brady Davis out of Illinois State. The give is to Harbison. And Harbison breaking a couple of tackles and getting awfully close to that first down marker. That's going to be a gain of 9. Rashad Bird finally putting an end to that one. So Brady Davis, 6'4", 210-pounder, born in Armory, Mississippi. The Redbirds of Illinois State did not play football in 2020, part of the Missouri Valley Conference. And they are scheduled to play 8 games starting later next month.
Well, James Robinson came out of Illinois State, the star running back of Jacksonville, the Jaguars this year, undrafted free agent, had one of the best years of any running back in the NFL.
Going over the middle, that's a nice one. Bussey had it, but only momentarily. It was ripped out.
Yeah, nice play by Isaiah Dunn. And it's interesting, number 33, Dunn, out of Oregon State, he's a good press corner. He can flat out run, he's got good size. This is a good throw, right on the money. And watch Dunn, I mean, he just strips it with that right hand and gets the ball out. And the play is never over until the whistle blows. And so you got time to get that ball out of Bussey. And that's you want to call that a drop. That's the first drop by Bussey this afternoon.
Here's a handoff. This is Harbison again, and he's able to bounce towards that left side of the line, and he is able to get first down yardage. Isaiah Dunn was one of the first names you actually recognized when we were talking after that first day of practice.
So one of the things, I mean, practice is as important as these games. When you come to these bowl games, it was in Mobile this week at the Senior Bowl. But you watch these guys a one-on-one, and watching Isaiah Dunn backpedal and then flip his hips and get into a stride, into a run and burst. I mean, he's got great speed. He's got a lot of experience. He's played up against some really good players at the Pac-12.
115 career tackles, 18 pass breakups as Harbison catches it out of the backfield, and he gets another first down. Flag comes in late in the sequence.
They have not thrown many of those in this game thus far. It's Harbison's second catch of the day, showing his ability to come out of the backfield and make that kind of a catch. Only the second penalty called so far.
Again, a primarily Pac-12 crew with Steve
There is
Strimling,
no
the head
foul
ref.
for number 87, illegal block in the back. The contact was ruled legal. Result of the play is first down.
Okay.
So they'll pick it up.
It was a good conference. Cavante Moses, right? Ooh, okay. All right. That was always a foul, you know, in all the leagues I've played in. But this is a bowl game. We're trying to evaluate players here more than trying to be a stickler for all these rules.
We're in the islands.
Yeah,
We're much more laid back
That's right.
out here, you know?
You're right.
11-yard connection there for another Team Kai first down. Davis, he's going to let it fly down the field, and it falls incomplete, and here comes the flag. There was some contact on the coverage by Sean Crawford and the receiver Eli Stove.
Yeah, too much contact. And I think we're going to get defensive pass interference by Crawford.
Pass interference, defense number 9. First down at the spot of the foul.
But here we go. Let's watch Crawford right here. He's in good shape right there. I think he's still in good
Foul
shape.
occurred at the 15-yard line. The ball will be placed first and 10 at the 15.
They just saw a hand placed on Stove right there, and they threw the flag. And that Eli Stove, he's out of Auburn. And everybody that goes to Auburn, they can just flat out run. I mean, you watch Darius Slayton for the New York Giants play. I mean, he can run by anybody in this league. They just recruit guys that can fly. I didn't see a real hard foul by Crawford that time, but they'll take the first down. It's one of the reasons why you got to throw go balls, though. They take shots down the field. You know, in the way you just don't know how they're going to call things.
It's just good to see Sean Crawford out of Notre Dame on the field.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has just been hammered with injuries throughout his collegiate career. Torn ACLs in both knees, left side in 2015, right side 2019, a torn Achilles in 2016. I mean, just the fact that he's doing this now is remarkable.
And he was granted a 6-year of eligibility at Notre Dame because of that.
The correct spot is the 15-yard line, first down.
So first and 10 from the 15. And that was another interesting part of the equation for these guys participating in this edition of the game, right? Because the free eligibility year, if you will, that was 2020, they all had the option to return to college next year.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has different circumstances for, you know, leaving college and getting ready for the next level. This is a good run.
Yeah, here's Tucker. Oh, gets upended. Driven down by Kyle Hemby, the Southern Miss defensive back / linebacker, bringing the wood.
I'm telling you, he just saved a touchdown. And what a hit. That's the best hit of the day. I could hear it from up here. I mean, here comes Tucker. Wow. That's a good hit. That's the type of hit and a tackle that scouts will see. They'll see that and they'll go, I need that in my secondary. I need that from the safety position right there. That'll catch a scout's eyes.
So it is first and goal after a 12-yard gain. Marable in the backfield. He will get it right up the gut, and he is in for 6. Touchdown, Team Kai. A 6-play, 67-yard drive to claim the lead on the scoreboard.
Well, they just ran right behind the massive Michael Brown in there. And Marable, he only needs about 6 inches of daylight for him to scoot through. Watch there we go. Nice job right there by Tuolima and by Brown inside. And pretty good team celebration by Team Kai here. He probably worked on that a little bit, maybe out there at the beach.
It's interesting to see how quickly some of these guys have come together. We heard a little chatter about the camaraderie over the course of just a few days. It seems as though these guys definitely have bonded.
In fact, Mike Singletary said in his closing speech yesterday after practice that this might be the last time you see some of these guys. So embrace the relationships that you've made this week.
Cote on for the point after, and it is no good. So 3 minutes, 22 seconds gone by on that drive, and it is capped by C.J. Marable. Scored a bunch of touchdowns throughout his career. He gets one here in the Islands. Just some of the imagery available here in the islands. The Hawaiian Islands playing host to the 2021 Hula Bowl, and it is Team Kai on top by virtue of a C.J. Marable touchdown plunge, and he is with our Kainoa Carlson. Well, we'll send it down to Kainoa after this kick. And the Cote kick fielded by Trey Walker. Let's now send it down to Kainoa Carlson.
Thank you very much, Kanoa. CJ, walk us through the play. You guys were battling from behind. Walk us through that touchdown.
Oh, man, the play is called 40 cap, so I line up on the left. It's an inside zone. I read my block. The offensive line did a great job. Just walked in.
I got a feeling this isn't the last touchdown we're going to see.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I'm trying to get a passing touchdown, make up for that pass I dropped.
Right on. Congratulations, bro.
Appreciate
This got 19 touchdowns just last year. Kanoa Bryan will send it back up to you guys.
Marable, just a two-star recruit out of Towers High School, and what a story he is, because this is a guy that definitely has the talent and the skill. It's just a matter of getting the right opportunity.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a cross between a Devin Singletary with Buffalo right now and Tarek Cohen of Chicago. Undersized but powerful and quick.
So Team Ina getting back to work offensively, and it is Zach Smith with the completion for a 5-yard gain. That one goes to Jamal Jones. Nate Hobbs there on the stop, the Illinois defensive back.
Yeah, and really, Jamal Jones is getting this opportunity. They're rotating all 4 backs here. So they're all going to get their touches, and the longer you can stay on the field, the more touches that you can get. And so everybody's looking for that opportunity right now, but it starts up front with Nestowitz and, Skullthorpe and a couple other guys up front right now.
Sun starting to go down here in Honolulu, Hawaii. And a little botch on the snap. Yeah, the ball came out, or didn't even get, perhaps, to Zach Smith as Naquan Jones tried to recover it. But fortunately for Team Ina, Jamal Jones was able to fall on top.
Well, that was the penetration by Naquan Jones that interrupted the handoff. And that, he had the sack at the end of the first half, and that's the type of play that he made at Sparty for a number of years there.
So Jamal Jones, just able to cling onto that one.
Yeah. But, that's the type of penetration that can just ruin a play. And that's exactly what the almighty Nay, as he likes to call himself, the almighty Nay just made.
He has looked like the almighty Nay on several occasions here.
First charge timeout, Team Kai.
And Team Kai now signaling for a timeout. 7:43 left to play here in this third period. We'll take a break as well. 39 coming up for Team Ina on the other side.
The 2021 Hula Bowl on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Josh Chitofian Band. Proud to be a part of the Hula Bowl. By Power Plus Mouthguard. Proud sponsor keeping the Hula Bowl players safe. And by Alohilani Resort Waikiki Beach, an award-winning resort offering a refreshing balance of energy and relaxation in Waikiki.
Shots of Waikiki Beach. I know you had some fun out there this week, Baldy.
That would be an understatement. I actually tried snorkeling and surfing at the same time off the board yesterday. I doubled the pleasure.
How'd that go?
Start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
That's a big penalty there. It was third down.
Yep.
Then you had Rex Ryan calling for a timeout. Interesting here in this scenario, but it ends up being a penalty for Team Ina, and so they're backed up 3rd and 14.
Well, they're backed up, and so, Rex, he's given the call right there. I don't know what that means when he's pointing to the teeth right there, like put some teeth into the defense right here. But he's got a good front four out there led by Max Roberts and Naquan Jones that can bring some heat.
So 3rd and long here. It is Zach Smith at quarterback. Steps up in the pocket, throws to the near side, nearly picked off.
Yeah, he was going to Myra Mitchell right there, and Mitchell just was nowhere near that ball. And the protection was pretty good. It held up pretty well. He was able to stay in the pocket and make that throw. I'm sure Team Chi wishes, little switch route, what we call it right there. And here you see Mitchell sitting in that hole. The ball just never got there.
Yeah, Nevada's E.J. Muhammad almost came up with one. He was talking to himself a little bit after that. So 3rd, 3 and out here for Team Ina, as Tyson Dyer once again comes on to punt. Again, all fair catches here by virtue of these Hula Bowl rules. And this one is made at the 40 by Jeremiah Heidel. Join our NFL experts as they break down all of this week's games, getting you ready for the Super Bowl. They'll give you their latest analysis from a quarterback's point of view. Watch NFL Monday QB tomorrow night at 6 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network. There are some that are suggesting this may be the most intriguing quarterback matchup of all time. Do you agree with that?
I remember 1984 now. I mean, Dan Marino and Joe Montana. That was pretty intriguing at the time. Marino was coming off his 48 touchdown season, which was an NFL record at that time. That was a pretty good one.
Brady Davis remains the quarterback here for Team Chi. 1st and 10 from the 41, throws it deep down the field, was looking for Bussey, and here comes a penalty flag. Jalen McClain Sapp out of Marshall on the coverage.
Did he grab the jersey? He might have grabbed the jersey right here as Bussey was going by him. See that right there, that little
Pass
grab?
interference,
That's
defense number 5. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, 1st down.
It's a good call. It's a good call because that restricted Bussey from on that go route right there. And so that's a big, that's a big play. NFL rules right here. This isn't, college anymore. So, that's not a 15-yarder. That's a huge play for Team Chi. And that's why, like I said in the last series, you've got to take your go shots. You got to take it. Bussey's speed really won the route.
Yeah, Bussey living up to some of that speed talk that you had with him prior to kickoff. 38-yard penalty, by the way. Throwing to the near side. This is Harbison, and he is ankle tackled by Sean Crawford.
That's a 3rd catch by Harbison today. A lot of the same type of throws. I mean, just little swing routes and flat routes to the outside, but he's done a good job of looking into his hands. Nothing careless right here. It's nice. Trying to get as many yards as you can.
Yeah, gain of 6 there. So 2nd and 4, ball in the red zone at the 16. Davis with the handoff. And up the gut goes Harbison. Getting some steady work here for Team Chi. That was a gain of 3.
Yeah, good job upside. Yeah, inside by Michael Brown and, Ta'anga Tualima, from Hawaii right there. Good push in the middle.
Ta'anga Tualima, he's an interesting story out of Iolani School. Studied Chinese in high school, so he actually can speak a little bit of Chinese. Also has played the saxophone since the 3rd grade, as it is another run up the middle. And right now, Team Chi deciding to just go with some power and force in the form of Harbison and the big fellas up front.
It's just inside zone here. So, they doubled Phil Hoskins inside, number 93 on the left side. And then it's just find the daylight. So they're getting 2 double teams right at the point of attack. Moving Hoskins, who's got big NFL size out of Kentucky, 320 pounds, but he couldn't get off the block that time.
We have a penalty flag.
Procedure penalty.
Ball start. Offense number 89. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That's John Rain, the Northwestern tight end. I believe that's the first time we've seen that penalty here this evening.
Well, the tight ends in this game, they can't be flexed out the way we'll see Travis Kelce next week. They got to be an inline tight end right here, which isn't bad. You get a chance to see him block. Everybody wants to see if these tight ends can hold up at the point of attack. You just can't leave too early, though.
So it now becomes 1st and goal from the 11. Here's Davis rolling to his right. Now he's going to throw it away. Eli Stove was the closest receiver in the area.
That call that time by Mark Sanchez, the offense coordinator, was really, he had 2 plays to make. He could run the shovel pass here to Rain on the backside, or he could throw front side. But they took the shovel pass away, and they took the out route away. So good defense that time by Team Ina, defending both potential plays.
So make it 2nd and goal from the 11. Harbison in the backfield. Bussey to the near side. The give is to Harbison again up that middle.
That time Hoskins came off the block that time though.
Gain of
See that
5.
93? When I saw Phil Hoskins this week practice, I thought there were times in one-on-one pass rush that he was unblockable. Like his power inside was super. And he was granted a 6-year eligibility to Kentucky. He had a bunch of injuries that he came through. So this is a big day for him.
He even had an interception this past season, came against Georgia. Tipped pass to himself. The throw to the end zone, had a man, did Brady Davis, but it's incomplete. They're a little behind Donnie Corley.
Corley had him. The ball was thrown to the right spot. That's a touchdown. That's a good player right there. That's Zane Anderson. I mean, watch this throw right here. He's got him. That's Zane Anderson, though. Right? He is some kind of athlete. He's one of those athletes, Zane Anderson, out of BYU, that when he goes and he gets tested, he'll be off the charts. I mean, vertical jump, power, he's strong, he's fast. I mean, he can play a variety of positions.
Yeah, moved to safety as a senior after playing primarily linebacker throughout his collegiate career. 24-yard field goal attempt for Cote, and it is good. So 3rd made field goal for Cote, 32, 33, and 24, and it is Team Kai on top, 15-7. Well, last month it was announced that there would be a moratorium placed on the scheduling of future events at Aloha Stadium. Now, 45 years old, this is a facility that housed professional baseball, college football, pro football. The Pro Bowl was held here for 35 years. This Hula Bowl was held here for many years before returning here the last 2. You got monster truck rallies, some great concerts. I mean, it has an enriched history, and this very well could be, Baldy, the final football game played at Aloha Stadium.
If that's the case, Canola, I'm taking seats with me. I'm going to rip some seats out, and I'm going to put it on the plane and take it back. I'm going to take a piece of Aloha Stadium. Because I have nothing but great memories here, covering the Pro Bowl and, in being on the Hula Bowl list, but not being invited. Like I was ecstatic, and then I was saddened when I didn't make it. But it was a big day when I got a letter before my senior year in college saying that I'd been on the Hula Bowl list for that coming January.
Seating capacity of 50,000 when it was first opened in 1976. It was state of the art. It could actually change and transform in configuration for baseball. It has been frozen in this football configuration for many years now.
Okay.
But it has served quite a purpose for this state and this community on a number of fronts. So it is a bittersweet type of event here this evening that we celebrate with the Hula Bowl being played in 2021 amid this pandemic. That unto itself is a minor miracle, but for it to be taking place here at Aloha Stadium comes with a lot of emotion for many people here.
No question about it. And you just talk to the locals, and they all have a history here. I've been to a number of Pro Bowls. I announced the Pro Bowl one year for another network, and I just seen the fans, that arrive here for an entire week of pleasure, the beach life, get away from the winter and the northeaster that's going on right now in the Northeast, and to see their favorite teams represented.
So David Moore is back in at quarterback here for Team Ina, and he gives it to Mekhi Sargent, who had a strong first half. And so it looks like Team Ina might be going back to some of the guys that got it done in that opening frame.
Well, I think both players. Mekhi Sargent had the big run, popped the run there in the first half. And, here it is, just the outside zone. And they get a good pull that time by Joshua Fed Jackson that time to lead the way.
Sargent had 43 yards on 4 carries in that first half. David Moore was 5 of 7 for 58 yards, also ran for the lone Team Ina touchdown. They trail 15-7, so they got a little bit of work to do in front of them. And here is Sargent moving and shaking all the way to a gain of about 11.
Hey, that guy's got some big thighs now. I don't know if they're Robert Newhouse big, but they're big, strong, and he breaks some tackles inside here. That's what you want to see. You want to see him pop this run right here, running through the arm tackles, and even right there, that bounce, contact balance is so important to a running back. You're going to see it, next Sunday from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, he's got contact balance for the Chiefs coming out of LSU, the Chiefs' first-round pick this year, but that's what you want from the running backs. One guy that can't bring him down.
See the officials trying to get on the same page about something.
Well, they got the first down, so they're just making sure that the sticks get moved.
Clock reads 1:29. That was an 11-yard gain on that last play, so they do indeed move the chains. And here is Moore with a bootleg. Flag comes out. He goes down at about midfield. That was Max Roberts, who was circling around David Moore.
I didn't see the flag. I mean, I saw the flag come out, but I didn't know what the infraction was. Maybe somebody illegal downfield, perhaps.
Holding, defense number 48. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. That includes an automatic first down.
That's Caleb Johnson from Houston Baptist on the penalty.
No, that's a good call. Good call. So he had a hold on the tight end right there, Josh McMillan. We haven't talked about Josh McMillan today. Rex Ryan told me that he thought Josh McMillan was the #1 player at this All-Star event here. He came out of Alabama, played there at Alabama, played for the national championship team, could play a number of different positions. Was sent to the emergency room this week. He had his face scratched, and they needed 7 stitches to stitch it up. He's going to have a nice scar as a reminder of this Hula Bowl. But played a number of positions at Alabama.
Moore back to throw, runs away from pressure, and he is iced out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. Raymond Johnson giving chase.
Well, I thought that Josh McMillan could have done a better job of coming back to help out David Moore on that route as Jim Zorn tries to get the next call in to his quarterback. Lost a couple yards on that scramble.
You talk about McMillan. He looks the part, doesn't he? 6'5", 255, chiseled. Has played, as you mentioned, a variety of positions from linebacker to fullback. He's listed here this week as a tight end H-back, also special teams.
Very fluid athlete. You know, can play a number of positions, and everybody's looking for that guy that can be multidimensional like that.
Moore, a short drop, is looking the way of McMillan.
That ball got tipped right to the line of scrimmage.
That's the end of the third quarter.
And that's the last play of this third quarter. Jared Hewitt getting a finger on that Moore offering. So to the fourth we go with the Team Chi up 15-7. As the sun sets here in the islands, we enter the fourth quarter of this 2021 Hula Bowl with Team Chi on top 15-7 over Team Ina. Alongside Brian Baldinger, I'm Kanoa Leahy. It is Team Ina trying to make a game of it here with David Moore, who has been their most effective quarterback in this game. 6 of 9 for 64 yards and a rushing touchdown at the helm.
Yeah, and he's faced with a 3rd and long here, so it's a good situation. He's going to see man coverage across the board to his 3 receivers. We'll see which one can beat the man coverage right now.
Quickly, he has to exit the pocket, and he has nowhere to go, throws it away, giving chase. That was Jovan Swan from Indiana, and boy, was he coming hot.
Well, it was Max Roberts who won first. He beat Jalen Fisher, the right tackle, clean. And David Moore felt it off the right side, 44. That's what he did all week. So he was the first one. Now, you get, Jovan Swan right here finished it, but it was Max Roberts that forced David Moore out of the pocket and chased him.
Intentional grounding, offense number 16. Although he was outside the tackle box, The ball did not reach the line of scrimmage. Lost it down at the spot of the foul, the 37-yard line. 4th down.
See that Max Roberts? That is a skill that he has, the ability to bend, turn the corner, come off the edge with some speed like that, and affect the play. So you get a 3rd down stop and you get a penalty force because he chased the quarterback out of the pocket quickly.
So that backs up Team Ina considerably.
First charge timeout, Team Ina.
And they will signal a timeout.
32nd timeout.
Team Kai, meanwhile,
Media
meanwhile, has scored 15 unanswered since going down 7-0, and they are poised to get the ball back on the other side.
The 2021 Hula Bowl on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Hawaii Speed and Quickness. Hawaii Speed and Quickness congratulates all the 2021 Hall of Fame inductees. By UAV. Mahalo to all the 2021 Hula Bowl players. And by Manaola, the official aloha wear of the Hula Bowl.
A lot of collaboration to put this event on. This was as difficult a time to do this as ever. And so for Rich Miano, the executive director of the game, for everyone who was involved, to be able to get this thing off the ground and to have a football game here tonight, that is an accomplishment of note.
Yeah, because it is the COVID restrictions and the things that you're asked to do to come to Hawaii right now, they're very serious about it, as they should be. Lori Miano, Rich Miano's wife, had to help out with some quarantine situations. A lot of these players were playing in another bowl game over in St. Petersburg, Florida, and were invited to come here. So a lot of these guys, they got very little sleep, very little rest before they came.
Well, let's send it down to Ian Shearing. He has more.
Kano, just more on the coronavirus health and safety protocols. Being down here on the sideline for a game during this pandemic is unlike anything most anybody who's worked on the sideline of a game at any level has experienced. There are just a few yards back of the benches, big tables with, I can count about 8 or 10 bottles of hand sanitizer on them. The training staff is being very careful with who is allowed to touch the water bottles. They're trying to be very judicious about who's being allowed to even drink these multi-use bottles. So from everywhere from the hotel to here on the field during the game, being very careful about those health and safety protocols.
Thanks a lot, Ian, as they should be. In fact, at practice, they didn't really have the usual spray water bottles. It was those individual actual water bottles that you buy at the store.
Yeah, the mask being supplied by Halo Life. Michael Thomas doing a good job supplying everybody here at the Hula Bowl with the mask.
So Brady Davis continues at quarterback here for Team Kai in this 4th quarter possession. It is C.J. Marable and is able to find a seam. Doesn't get much, gain of 5, but a good stick at the end of that by Zane Anderson.
Yeah, I thought pretty good blocking up front. Shane Magoo in there right now, along with the Joe Roth Award winner Sam Cooper in at right guard. Batho, you look at Jack Batho right there, number 78, the tallest player at the Hula Bowl. I mean, he broke his finger this week. I mean, the finger, like I have a bad finger, but his finger, like it's the middle finger, and it was going in a different direction. He's got it all taped up there. You see that right hand? And he was a little worried about it, but he's out there playing right now.
This is a handoff to Trey Harbison. That is the 13th touch for Harbison in this game.
Yeah, no, he's been really good. The receiving end of it, he's got over 80 yards of offense on those touches. Getting the most work of any running back here. UNC Charlotte, man, that program there in Conference USA, they've been turning out some good players. Nate Davis with the Tennessee Titans, the starting right guard. Had a tackle drafted by the Jets last year. Linebacker drafted by the Steelers.
So no gain on that last Harbison touch, and that leads to the Zach Von Rosenberg punt.
Okay.
And he doesn't get quite the distance on this one as he was getting earlier in the game. And so Team Ina will have some decent field position here with 12:18 left to play in the 4th. Tuesday night at 9 Eastern, we are back on the hardwood with some Mountain West action. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels taking on in-state rival, the Nevada Wolfpack. Catch it all on CBS Sports Network. So it'll be 1st and 10, ball at the 30-yard line. That was a 26-yard punt. And so Team Ina will look to try to even this thing up with perhaps a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with David Moore at the quarterback position. It's Jamal Jones on the handoff, and not much there.
No, and they're just crowding the line of scrimmage right now. They're taking the run away, and they're really forcing David Moore to pull it up. But you can see the penetration by the blue team, Team Kai. And then on the backside, you know, you look at Javon Swan, who we've called his name a lot. I saw him in the weight room yesterday morning, getting some conditioning in, getting some extra lifting in. Unbelievable facility at the Loalani Hotel. And guys took advantage of it this week to stay in shape.
So with that loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Quick drop for Moore, fires it to the far side. A leaping catch there by Myron Mitchell. He was flashing some stuff here this week. That's a gain of 6. He hasn't really lived up to that here in game time, but boy, was he wowing them during the week.
Well, he's got great speed. You know, played for UAB. They're the Blazers. He's got blazing speed. I'm waiting for maybe, if they can protect long enough, just a little stutter and go out of Mitchell. Now, they said that just looking at him, Chad Owens was working with him this week, former Hawaii great wide receiver, great player in the CFL for a long time. He said that he's just got to trust his speed. He doesn't need to do a whole lot, just run by people. There's Chad Owens. Good coach, good teacher. Really explains the game well.
Yeah. Just noticed he was up on the Jumbotron too, and not too sad about it. Here's Moore to the far side. That is complete right at the first down marker to Myron Mitchell. Zach McPherson on the coverage. It'll kind of come down to the spot here.
Yeah, he's going to be a little short. McPherson did a good job of getting him out of bounds. You mentioned Zach McPherson earlier in the game. He's a really good prospect. He closes quickly on it. It's a good throw by David Moore.
Well, it won't actually come down to the spot because the ruling apparently an incomplete pass. They'll say that he only got 1 foot in.
Well, I mean, some of these, you know, these college guys got to realize this isn't college rules anymore. NFL, of course, it's 2 feet in and control of the ball. And so, good job on the sideline.
Well, we're going to have a challenge here.
Okay.
From Team Ina. As mentioned, we are playing under primarily NFL rules, and certainly as it applies to these catches along the sideline.
Well, let's see here. Dragging the right foot. I think they might win this challenge. I see some rubber being kicked up off the field.
I'm with you.
I mean, that's a pretty good play if this gets reversed by Myron Mitchell to get the feet down, and David Moore feels like they won the challenge. But I think even if they win it, I think they're still going to be short of the first down.
James Decker is the replay official taking a look at this. Myron Mitchell, 29 receptions, 436 yards, 3 TDs in 9 games in 2020. UAB, the Conference USA champs, but 5 games were canceled this season, including what there would be bowl appearances.
Yeah, yep. A lot of teams battled that issue throughout the season, of course. Looks like Jim Zorn there with the green paper in his hand, play sheet. He's getting ready for the next play. I think they're going to win this challenge. It looks like they're going to be about a half a yard short.
No official word just yet, but I agree with you.
After review, the receiver did get 2 feet in bounds. It was also reviewed depending on the progress spot for first down, and it's ruled a half yard short. It's 4th down. We will not charge the team with the timeout.
All right, so a catch, yes. A first down, no.
Well, I think Team Ina right now has to go for this. So their best short yardage play. They didn't get a chance to really work on a lot of live tackling throughout the week. So, whatever Jim Zorn thinks that they can get the 1 yard, whether it's a quarterback sneak from David Moore, which would he's taking a lot of snaps under center. He's going to be under center on this play. That would be my initial play, would be quarterback sneak.
So under center, it's Moore. It's Jones and Taylor in the backfield. Wow. And Moore rolling out. Looking to throw, and he does, and it is incomplete. What do you think about that call, Baldy?
I don't like the call. I don't like it. It was well defended, but I think when you're a half a yard short and there's a gap on the offensive line, I think you got to take it. I mean, there's a gap up there, and to roll out, going to his tight end, Artavius Lynn, I mean, they were all over that. I really got to question that call when it's a half a yard.
Nice job on the closeout there by Tyler Coyle, 6'1", defensive back from Purdue.
You know, next week at the Super Bowl, if it's a half a yard, Tampa's got it. I mean, Tom Brady's running quarterback sneak. I mean, his percentage is unbelievable, and I thought they missed that opportunity.
That was the first fourth down conversion attempt by either side here in this game, and the quick change gives the ball to Team Kai at the 39-yard line. And they're throwing on first down, a little behind Rico Bussey from Brady White.
I like the concept, though. You basically get a turnover, you know, on the fourth down stop, and you go right downfield, downtown right here, on the quick slant. And he had him. He had Crawford beat that time if the ball was perfectly thrown.
Brady White back out there, the Memphis quarterback, who won the William V. Campbell Trophy. It's basically considered the academic Heisman. This is a guy who does the job not just on the field but in the classroom for sure. Already a PhD candidate in liberal studies. Fires that one to Bussey. He's able to break the first tackle and gets a gain of 5. So another detailed look here at the quarterback, Brady White.
Well, you know, he started off at Arizona State, and he transferred. Coach at Hawaii now, was at Arizona State. He moved when Coach Grantham moved, and so he went off to Memphis, and Memphis has had a prolific offense for a number of years now. I remember watching Antonio Gibson in the Cotton Bowl 2 years ago, the starting running back for the Washington football team.
3rd and 6 here for Team Kai, and it is a handoff. And not much there for Israel Tucker.
Yeah, good stuff.
Tyree Thompson stepping up into that gap.
Yeah, Carlo Kemp was in there out of Michigan. Let's take a look here. Just an inside zone. Good job. That's Kemp getting off the block, number 90.
And Thompson doing the rest.
So it looks like Team Kai's going to go for it. Their first fourth down. Yeah. It was a big play. Mike Singletary, I'm sure, is shouting some encouragement right now to his defense. They need the ball back.
So this is a 4th and 5 attempt here for Team Kai. And it's a shovel pass that falls incomplete.
Yeah, exactly right. That's, you know, you just wonder, okay, there's a shovel pass on fourth down. Like, how many times they actually rep that this week, you know, with 3 live practices. Chris Garrett, number 35 right there, disrupted it.
Looked like they were going to John Rain on that one as well, the tight end. So flag came out. Let's listen in.
The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. We have a change of possession. After the play, flagrant personal foul number 50 of the offensive team. That's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, that's Tyler Johnson from Louisiana Monroe.
Number 50 has been disqualified for the remainder of the game.
He was the starting left tackle for Team Kai.
I want to see if he threw a punch. You know, that's usually what gets you disqualified. You see him like a little tussle after the play. I think he threw a punch. A little Muhammad Ali rabbit punch at him right there. And you got to do it. I mean, I know Rex Ryan wanted everybody to play hard, but he wanted to play fair, and really, there's no place for it. And he's their best left tackle, so they've got a Jack Batho will be his backup and a replacement. Of course, he's playing with that broken finger, so he'll be the left tackle the rest of the way.
Meanwhile, Team Ina in great field position by virtue of that failed fourth down conversion and the penalty, although that pass by Zach Smith batted down. Smith continuing once again back in there at quarterback.
Yeah. Naquan Jones is had himself a good day. Sack, been disruptive behind the line of scrimmage. And when you physically just look at Naquan, I mean, you're looking at a real NFL body inside. I mean, big and thick in all the right places and been well coached at Michigan State. Those Mike D'Antonio defenses there for a long time, they were built big inside.
Smith under center. Almost stumbled a little bit, now sets the feet, fires a strike to the far side. And Myron Mitchell actually lost a little bit of yardage as he tried to make the move after the catch, but it'll still be a gain of 9.
You saw a little burst here. You saw a little burst. Good job up front. Good protection this time. Zach Smith can step into the throw. And you can see the burst right here. You definitely don't want to lose yardage after you've got the first down made, setting up this third down.
Good play there made defensively by Trey Threat, 6'1", 220-pound linebacker from Jacksonville State.
It's a good name, right?
Yeah.
To be the threat.
It'd be a great name for basketball, the triple threat position.
Triple threat,
it's
yeah.
Trey Threat. He started his collegiate career at Auburn, played there for 2 years.
You were recruited by Auburn. You're coming out of a good high school program.
Timeout, Team Ina. Second and a half.
So second timeout charged here to Team Ina. 7:21 left to play. It is still Team Kai trying to preserve this 15-7 advantage. Well, it was another beautiful evening here in Honolulu, Hawaii. 7:21 left to play here in the 2021 Hula Bowl. And it is Team Kai on top, 15-7. Team Ina facing a 3rd and 1 at the Kai 42-yard line.
They got a good interior of this offensive line right here, from Parker Ferguson to Kennedy to Braylon Jones. We've talked about all 3 of those guys. They're inside, along with Tuateli at right tackle. Why not take a shot big on big inside right now? See if they can move that Naquan Jones.
Meanwhile, in the backfield, it's Sargent and Brown next to Zach Smith. Fake handoff and the toss to Sargent, and he's got room down that sideline. Pushed out of bounds inside the 25. Cameron Kinley out of Navy finally making the stop, but a big gainer there on 3rd down.
Nice fake right here inside to Spencer Brown. And then you just flip it on the outside to Mekhi Sargent. That's a good call. Good call, good execution. And it happened with the urgency. I like that.
18-yard gain. We have seen Sargent now showing a little bit of the repertoire. We got some early movement.
It's Braylon Jones, the right guard. He had his track shoes on.
Offense number 55, 5-yard penalty, first down.
He was getting out of the blocks fast. He was looking to go hunt somebody up. He knows he jumped early though. It's actually pretty good that's really the first offsides by an offensive line in this whole game. Thinking you're playing with 3 quarterbacks that you've never played with before. They all have a different cadence, a different snap count, and you're listening to it and trying to judge it. Really the first one we've had all night. That's pretty good.
So it makes it a 1st and 15. Ball at the 29-yard line. So Spencer Brown on the carry. And he gets to the 25. You were talking this week about intangibles. It's not just the measurements of height and weight and 40 times and that kind of thing. You were giving some of these players some advice as to just what to show the scouts and coaches that are a little bit more aesthetic in nature.
Well, the thing is a scout's job is to study movement. That's what they do. They study movement. So the more fluid you can be, the way that when you're beat, how you recover, if you can stay on your feet, all those are important to height, size, weight that a guy like Naquan Jones has. He has all of that. You want to see some of the subtle things. If the game is instinctive to you and how easy it comes to you.
Flag comes out. As that pass goes through the hands of the intended target. It was Khalil McLean who couldn't quite pull that one in. And fortunately for Team Ina, it falls incomplete.
I saw Rex already declining the penalty. It's against Team Ina. Rex wants to go
illegal formation on the offense. That penalty's declined, result of the play's 3rd down.
Okay, so that's back-to-back pre-snap penalties. You get the offsides by Jones, and then you get, not lining up correctly. And so that always falls on the head coach. But those are back-to-back pre-snap penalties. Rex just declined that, setting up this third and long right now.
Good look at both of the coaches, Mike Singletary and Rex Ryan. They coached together as assistants in Baltimore for a couple of years, 2003, 2004.
And Rex was the defensive coordinator there then, and Mike came in to be the linebacker coach.
Their friendship has lasted. Mike Singletary talks so openly about his connection with Rex's father, Buddy Ryan, says it was in many ways almost a father and son type of relationship at times. And that one is picked off. Great anticipation. Nick McLeod.
His second
INT of the game. And that one was a biggie with 4:45 left to play.
Well, I mean, right now, he's the standout player in this game. And, he was a transfer from North Carolina State to Notre Dame. Good celebration right there. They got blow that one up. Put that one in the war room right there at home. But this throw by Smith is a little bit off target, but you can see that McLeod just jumped it. He jumped it right there. And really, the route wasn't terrible. He was turning in. Smith was throwing it out, but really McLeod was cluing it the whole way. He saw the release of the ball from Smith the whole time.
Yeah, Khalil McLean, the intended target. McLeod putting in work here this evening. How much does a performance like this, you think, 2 interceptions in this Hula Bowl help his cause?
Oh, it's big. It's big. It's a confidence. Everybody's looking for somebody that can take the ball away. And so those kind of skills, this is a nice run. But interceptions are, a lot of guys never get interceptions. They don't know how to look for them. They don't take advantage of them when they're there. Like, he's had 2 chances tonight, and he's caught both of them. A lot of guys drop them, not good hands. That's a credit to McLeod.
You mentioned the good run. That was Israel Tucker for 12. So a chance for Team Kai to effectively seal the deal and give Rex Ryan his second Hula Bowl victory in as many years.
And he's keeping the score down. They just had the one drive that's engineered by David Moore of 92 yards, and other than that, they have shut Team and I down.
KJ Costello is the quarterback, hands it off to Tucker, lost his footing. So that'll be a short loss. But the clock will tick. 1 timeout remaining for Team Ina.
Well, if you're Team Ina right now, you've got to try to create the turnover and the takeaway. So you've got to punch the ball out. You've got to try to strip right now. You've got to do all the little things that you've been taught your whole life. If you're going to be a defensive player that Mike Singletary, did for his, majority of his career in Chicago. And that's what he's teaching those and telling those guys right now.
Yeah, that mask is off now.
Yeah.
Mike Singletary removed that. He needs to get his message across. Costello with the pocket closing out. Fires it incomplete. I'll make that Brady Davis in at quarterback. Throwing incomplete.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 95. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
There's Jeremiah Littles from South Alabama.
Well, that won't make Mike Singletary happy. I heard his speech to the team yesterday, and he was saying that I want you to play fast. The only way you play fast if you know what you're doing. I want you to play physical.
Wasn't the first 2 guys. He was the 3rd guy.
He said, I want you to play physical, all right, but within the rules. And right there, hitting the quarterback late. And he said, play smart. And the last play right there just wasn't smart by Javon. Or by Littles, I'm sorry.
So a little revolving door now at quarterback for Team Kai. As KJ Costello once again is rolled back out there to play quarterback. CJ Marable in the backfield, and now we're going to get a Team Kai timeout.
Charge timeout, Team Kai.
They will have 1 remaining.
30-second timeout.
With 2:47 left to play. Now, we rewind back. You had that long 90-yard drive by Team Ina, the first score of the game. It was 7-0, and then Rex decided to, on the sideline, bring some of his defensive units together. He kind of laid into him a little bit. Since then, they have pitched a shutout.
Yeah, and that's sort of the magic touch of Rex. Defense is his calling. It's been that, his brother Rob, his father, and he just knows the way it's supposed to look. And it doesn't look right. He knows how to fix it. And certain things you got to say. I mean, he's smiling right now. I mean, you don't have to be around Rex very long before you get a good joke. They're coming. They're coming one after another. But right now, he feels like he's got control of this game.
1st and 10. They definitely have a chance to close this thing out right here on this possession. Some early movement there, looked like on that right side.
Yeah, the right tackle.
False start 75 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Michael Johnson from Savannah State, 6'5", 335-pounder.
He's got good size.
2:47 on the game clock, please. 2:47.
He's got the size you're looking for at right tackle. You know, that's a question of just polishing techniques, okay? But, I mean, just from a size standpoint, that's what you want at right tackle right there.
Savannah State, Shannon Sharp's alma mater.
Sharp, yeah. Good call.
Michael Johnson, he was happy to be here. He took to Twitter and said, "I'm in freaking Hawaii!" exclamation point.
Yeah. Doing a good job on that throw.
And that one connects to John Rain. Rashad Bird on the coverage, 6-yard gain.
Well, let's watch Michael Johnson right here. Here is a right tackle, blocking on Kemp. Good job just kind of mauling him right there and just moving his feet and staying in front of him. I always like that when I watch an offensive lineman play. You know, I like to freeze it right when the quarterback releases the ball. And I want to see where everybody is. How close are they to the quarterback?
So a 2nd and 9 here coming up for Team Chi, and they are in no hurry whatsoever. Remember, there is a 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I'm going to run it down right now to the 2-minute warning. Yeah, that's what Rex just put up, the 2 fingers, 2 minute.
He's just trying to
2-minute warning.
He's just trying to apply the finishing touches at this point. Team Chi on top, 15-7, and time running out for Mike Singletary and his guys on the Team Ina side. Welcome back. Alongside Brian Baldinger, I'm Kanoa Leahy. There is your scenario. 2 minutes to go. Team Chi up 15-7. They are in Team Ina territory, looking at a 2nd and 9 out of the timeout.
And really what they want to do right now, and this is what Rex Ryan just told them during the timeout, we want to finish this game with the ball. They don't want to give Team Ina any opportunity to touch it, to get it, to have a lucky play or anything. So that's their goal right now.
A few moments being taken here, and now it looks like the officials will clear the path. KJ Costello continues to operate at that quarterback position, out of the shotgun, and he throws a pick.
Wow.
Picked off by Carlo Kemp, and he is history.
Oh, what a jump the screen. I can't believe they threw it, to be honest with you. But Carlo Kemp, that's the play they needed, right there.
The Michigan Wolverine changes everything on one play.
Rex can't believe it. Rex can't believe it, but, I mean, credit Carlo Kemp. I mean, they sniffed out that screen right away. He jumped in the passing lane and then finished the play. I mean, here he's on the left side of your screen. But what you're taught as a defensive lineman is as soon as you see screen start to turn and run, and he felt it, and then you see the speed. Kind of an undersized defensive lineman, but you can see that he makes up for it with plenty of speed. They were going to try and set up a little screen to C.J. Marable, but the penetration and the hit by Chris Garrett stopped it. And then Kemp, I don't know if he has any defensive touchdowns to his name at Michigan. That feeling never gets old. Now you got to go for 2 here.
Well, his uncle, Chuck Pagano, pretty proud of that play right there.
No doubt.
So Team Ina going for 2. That was their first score since the 1:09 mark in the first quarter. Peyton Ramsey is the quarterback. Split backs on either side. Fakes the handoff, looking to the end zone, throws to the end zone, incomplete. Nobody home, and Team Chi is able to hold them off on that 2-point try.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a play-action fake right there. I don't really think he had anybody. Faked it to Sargent. I don't think they got anybody out clean. That was good. I mean, it was man coverage all the way, and they just manned them up. Good assignment football by Team Kai.
And guess who? Max Roberts again in on the scene.
Yeah.
In that backfield.
That's a huge play. Now, no onside kicks, right, at the Hula Bowl.
That's right. So if Team Ina wants the ball back,
yes,
they would be allowed to go for what equates to a 4th and 15 try to get the first down and the possession.
And that's what is being explained right now to Mike Singletary and Jim Zorn.
So again, no onside kicks, as you alluded to, Baldy. Inside of 2 minutes of the fourth, we'll hear the explanation here.
There is no onside kick. However, there is an onside possession series. Team Ina will put the ball in play, 4th down and 15 yards from their own 30-yard line. This will be a regular scrimmage play, 1 play. 4th down.
There you go. May I be the first to say, I love this rule.
Well, it's been talked about at different levels of football for a while, but I've never seen it enacted. So because the onside kick is a dangerous play, and they're trying to do away with it. So how do you combat that? How do you give the team that's behind with under 2 minutes to go that opportunity? And this is the first time I've seen it live right now, but I've heard it talked about and discussed. So I think it's good. Implement the rule here, give it a shot.
And you're executing a football play.
Right.
So it stays very much within the parameters of the normal duration
and
of the game.
let's just face it, if you can convert on 4th and 15, you've accomplished something. So that's the benefit, if you can do it, is to retain possession of the ball.
So they will spot it on the 30.
I like the fact that this Hula Bowl was breaking new ground right here this year. You know?
If there was a year to do it, this is the one.
Oh, yeah.
So Carlo Kemp with the pick 6 changes the whole complexion of this, with Team Ina going for a 4th and 15 for a first down and to keep the possession. Peyton Ramsey stepping up, fires down the sideline. It is incomplete.
Good coverage.
Was looking for Khalil McLean. Nate Hobbs had him blanketed.
No doubt. I mean, it was really good coverage on McLeod. They squeezed him to the sideline just perfectly the way you wanted to.
Result of the play is an incomplete pass. It's first down, Team Kai on the 30-yard line.
I mean, it's a good shot. It's a good shot that time by Peyton Ramsey, but you can see how they just squeezed it. I mean, that's just, look, I mean, it's assignment football. They had the corner on him and the safety over the top, and they just squeezed it.
So Team Kai flying awfully close to the sun here in the late stages of this fourth quarter, but to this point they have avoided a full disaster.
You know, that Nate Hobbs, he played at Illinois. You can see the Illini on the side of the helmet right there. I mean, he played against a lot of good players in the Big Ten. He thought the best that he played again while he's been there at Illinois was Chase Claypool. You know, the rookie sensation from the Pittsburgh Steelers this year out of Notre Dame.
So Brady White back in at quarterback here for Team Kai, and here's the risk-reward equation, right? Team Kai gets it on the Team Ina 30.
I don't think you're going to see.
Here's Harbison.
I think Harbison has had a great night. Great night. The most effective back, I thought, of all.
Third and final timeout, Team Ina. 30 seconds.
Harbison's had a good night. Almost 100 yards total yards from scrimmage. Good dual threat. So if they pick up this first down here on 2nd and 1, Ina has no opportunity to stop the clock. Really, they get the first down. This game, Rex Ryan is just victory formation. You see Mark Sanchez in the middle there, the offensive coordinator, talking to his quarterback, Brady White.
You didn't think that Mark Sanchez and company were into this. He asked about headsets for the coaching staff.
Yeah.
And the Hula Bowl brass basically said, hey, look, we don't really do headsets. He said, what if I bring my own headsets in? They said, well, you have to make them available for the other team.
Yeah.
So he did.
Yeah.
They just decided not to use
right.
it.
There you go.
Handoff. And
Looks
this
like
will
he's got
go for a first down.
Yep.
And that is Harbison again. It's fitting that Harbison perhaps able to drive in the nail on what is one of many touches for him throughout this football game.
Well, he was a grad transfer from Northern Illinois to Charlotte. Had a good season this year with Charlotte. Played Played 6 games this season for him, Conference USA. But this was a good night for him.
Yeah, he was great with Northern Illinois, right? Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Good program. Good MAC program. You can see they're in a victory formation right here. They're surrounding.
So it got a little gnarly there for Rex Ryan and the gang, but Rex is on the verge of making it back-to-back here in the Hula Bowl.
Yeah. You know, originally it was going to be his brother was going to be on the other side. It was going to be Rob Ryan. And then just last week he took a job being the linebacker coach for the Baltimore Ravens as he gets the Gatorade back. You could have used some warmer water, Rex is saying, but he don't mind.
How much fun has he had?
He's had a good time.
The last 2 years.
He's had a good time.
We talked about how much he loves the islands, the tribal tattoos that were all inked here on trips to Hawaii.
I remember his first trip here. He was just a defensive line coach for the Ravens, and Tony Siragusa and a bunch of guys from the Ravens, they paid his way here to come to the Pro Bowl one year. And that was his first trip here, and he loved it ever since.
So the two coaches meeting midfield. Rex Ryan with the victory over Mike Singletary's team Ina. 15-13.
Charlie EJ, happy birthday, Cash.
Got interesting thanks to a huge play by Carlo Kemp. But in the end, Team Kai reigns supreme. We'll be back with the awards